my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
welcome in, welcome in. We are back. We are back. Okay, Alice the Great. We're here now. We're here now, okay? Alice was getting on me, just giving me all kind of grief and stuff. I know. Hey, it's a lot. It's a lot. You wouldn't believe it. It's a lot putting this stuff together. But we're here. We're here, and I apologize for our time shift, but we are here. And welcome in. You got I am Ron Freeman, and you got Jrxtv. Welcome, 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 guys. What is it like? Oh, what is it like where you are, JR? What's the weather? What's the weather doing? Because we're having a beautiful day here in Detroit.
Today's been quite warm, like summer's on the way. So
yeah. Okay, same here. We were like in the high 50s, almost 60, and tomorrow I get it from the forecast we're supposed to be in the 70s, which is like, oh, okay, all right. Ron, what about you? What's the weather like? It's always warm where you are.
Yeah, warm, little cloudy, but warm.
Okay, a little cloudy. Okay. I don't have one of those Texas, Houston rainstorms that I used to see, where it rains really hard for about like 10 minutes and then it clears up.
Yeah, no rain, but yeah, it's just cloudy.
Just cloudy. Yep. Okay. You guys in the chat, welcome in. Drop a note and let us know what part of the world you're from, and how is the weathering where you're from. Okay. Oh, okay, Alice. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. It's just a lot going on, trust me. But anyway, wow. Just briefly, guys, what were your overall thoughts about this reunion part 1? Because it was a lot for me. But I want to ask you guys, what did you think?
Ron, you want to go first?
Yeah, definitely was a lot. I don't think it wasn't unexpected. Kind of with this group, it kind of let this group kind of had the gloves off and kind of run it the way they wanted to run it. Basically, I figured out throughout the whole season.
Hold on 1 second, guys, because I see Alice is saying she can't hear anything. Drop a thumbs up if you can hear us. Okay, drop a thumbs up in the chat, because we don't know on our side, but Alice is saying she can't hear. I'm assuming the rest of you can hear. So drop a thumbs up if you can hear us. Alice, maybe your device, maybe you need to check it maybe a little bit. Okay, go ahead, Ron. You were saying what your basic thoughts were.
Yeah, they kind of let this kind of cast kind of had gloves off kind of pretty much the whole season. So I got a chance to meet a lot of cast members this weekend. They are authentically themselves. They're not, it wasn't a lot of representatives and things of that nature. They were allowed freely to be themselves during this season. And I like it. I like the fact that, people are being authentic and they are being them, good, bad, or indifferent. Other castmates maybe don't like it as much. You know what I mean? I'm gonna try to support cast members no matter what, like I said, as long as they're being themselves and they're just being them. So yeah, it was a lot, but I feel like everybody was being themselves and allowed to be that. And this is what you get sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. That's a good point, JR. What are your thoughts?
I thought the reunion was carnage, chaos, and drama, and a lot of the issues we saw earlier on in the season, like it seemed like some people came with an agenda to try and settle those scores, which I would expect as well. But yeah, this was a very entertaining but chaotic display from the cast this season. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, it was something. It was really something I was expecting. And one thing about it is as I'm going back and doing notes, and guys, by the way, I'm going to do this a little bit differently tonight. I'm going to use the ticker at the bottom, and we're going to just discuss the various points as opposed to me trying to give recap. I think we've all seen the episode pretty much, so I think it'll be better to try to do it that way.
Hmm.
But one of the things I noticed looking back over it is that we didn't get a lot of stuff that I thought we were going to get. So I guess they're saving that for the part two, because it looks like in part two we're going to see Vanessa and Chaz's situation explored, and then we're going to find out, of course, about Mika and Justin and how they're doing.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I got out of it so far. You guys out in the chat, what did you guys think? What did you think? Yeah, that's Ron Freeman. Ron, I guess didn't get his avatar going there, and but when I take you can see it. You can see our name. See, that's Ron Freeman from the Houston season of Ready to Love, and we'll go ahead and get started. So we've got okay, so we're going to start off with Alonzo and Patrice's relationship plus one. uh, what were your thoughts about Tommy asking Patrice how their relationship was going? Patrice tells us that he's given her a key like days after the reunion, or I'm sorry, days after the being on the bridge. He gave her key to his home, and within 3 days, she basically catches him with another woman. Uh, JR, you want to start for us?
Yeah, it took 3 days for those butterflies to fly away, man. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I told you it was just gas. Um,
Yeah, you did. You did
um,
say that.
so I was very disappointed in Alonso, man. I don't know what kind of shenanigans he was playing at, but on further explanation, he further made the waters even more muddier, right? Um, on the
Hmm.
show, he was saying that he gave her a key because he had nothing to hide and he wanted to be serious about their relationship. And then obviously we hear Patrice's side where like she's found out that he was having maintenance with a female friend of his. Now he denied it. He said, he tried to play the old, oh, what's wrong with having friends? Like you're just insecure type thing. But
Yeah.
no,
Okay.
he
Okay.
put
Let's call it. Well, hold on a minute, because I got to stop you here. Was that a form of gaslighting, or is it just me, guys? There's a little bit of form of gaslighting?
yeah, it was because he wasn't telling the truth. Like this is someone that he actually has had relations with, and he didn't mention that. He said they hadn't done anything; it was just a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So he let people who actually do have platonic friends down in that moment because, like the way he tried to defend it and portray that nothing had happened, he didn't realize that Patrice had actually spoken to the lady and basically brought up that they had been intimate while the show was being filmed, like while they were being in the process. So that
Okay.
made it even worse. So at that point, Alonso took out his phone and it looked like he was actually messaging the lady,
Yeah, he was doing
saying,
something, which I'm
"What? You
surprised
met up with
he had his
Patrice?"
phone. Yeah, I'm
Like,
surprised he had his phone up on the stage. Weren't you a little surprised?
nah, I wasn't surprised. He pulled it out and then
We usually got to put your phone in a box. You ain't supposed to have your
Right,
phone. So
right. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. He must have
he
snuck
might
an
have snuck
extra
it.
ring
Yeah, he
in
might have
there.
snuck it. But they're not gonna.
Yeah.
because that's a rule that is a rule, they're gonna cut that out. They gonna give you a chance to use it. So whatever you got in there ain't gonna be
Yeah.
put on screen. Yeah.
Right, because other time I've seen that done on OWN was on Put a Ring one season. Remember that if you guys saw Put a Ring on it, and Otis and his lady Charlana, he was trying to talk to one of the ladies that he went on a date with. After the date, he was messaging her, and she pulled out her phone and she was about to expose him, but the host wouldn't allow it. So yeah, you don't normally have access to your phone on these shows. So that was something. What about you, Ron? What are your thoughts about the going back and forth with Alonzo and Patrice?
I mean, Alonzo, if you meet him in Vice, this is not an intentional man.
No.
So yeah, so I can't see any position where she would have thought any different. I don't care what say about. He seems like the dude that he loves to dance and skate. He's very tall and friendly, and he keep him a
Yeah,
little
friendly, all right.
side, little things on like for situations like that. What he said when he car ran out of gas or something, he happened. He got a little friend that come over here and help him out, and they keep it at that. But they probably know the situation. He is not a very intentional situation, and vice versa. I mean, him giving her the key was kind of like a Hail Mary move, I guess. But yeah, that's how he dates. So if that's how a person dates, I mean, what can you tell them? What you want to say?
I was trying to figure out, Ron, my question for her as a 42-year-old woman, what could this man possibly do for you besides F you? Like
It's
what?
nothing he could, but that's how he gets his women. Like I said, that's like he probably had, like you said, it's 3 more. It's probably 6 more of women that what I mean that he gets that come over from time to time to watch some Netflix and they chill and he go get some water burgers up, what I mean, some tacos and that's what it is.
Not the
And then
Whataburgers.
or what what I mean, they go
Yeah,
about
I remember Whataburgers. They're actually pretty good.
yeah, and they go about
Whataburgers.
their business and they friends, because he's friendly, he's a nice guy, he's tall, he's going, what I mean? And sometimes
And he's got a
some women date like that too, though. That's not
yeah.
put it all on him.
And let me add, as a woman, and he appears to have a very long tongue too. Apparently,
And women like tall guys. He's a legit 6'5", 6. You know what I mean? 6'6".
Yeah, he looks like it. You're right. He does
Yeah,
look
he's
like
a
a
legit
lot of
six
women
six.
like tall men. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I like
if you
tall
got,
and skinny
you might
men.
have the short guy who's dependable and this and attentional and things of that nature in your inbox, but then you might go help the car out of the 6'6" dude who sweet talking and dances a lot. You know what I mean? It happens in the dating game like that sometimes. So you got some women doing both,
Right. That's true. That's true. That's true.
But
And
his problem was this, like, and we had a conversation. Just stand on it, there, man. Stand on it. Don't try to wiggle out or lie your way out of it because you're gonna make it worse and stuff like that. Just you at that point, if he just would have standed on it, he would have been okay. Sometimes you don't think you will be because of how the atmosphere is, of Ready to Love. But you got to remember that everybody dates. Everybody can kind of relate to, what I mean, to anything good or bad or indifferent in dating and things of that nature. So if you say, hey, man, I thought I was kind of on here looking for something serious. I kind of figured out I kind of just want for friendships and this and that. Then you gotta stand on that.
okay, well, but here's the thing. Okay, I appreciate all of that in this new modern dating world that I am not a part of. Thank God, thank you, Jesus. But what? Why give? Like she said, why give her the key? That's the issue with this. Like they could have left it at the bridge that they're supposedly a couple. They could have went on about their business and came back to the reunion, and everything would have been good. Why bother? Why does he bother to tell her that we're exclusive and then proceed to give her a key to his place?
Well, I don't think he never said that they're exclusive. But
But
I didn't hear that part.
she said
I
that.
mean,
She said that when
oh,
she
she
was
did say?
talking. Yeah, she did. She told
I thought she
Tommy, and
said,
he
I thought once he did that meant we were exclusive.
no. She said that he specifically said that let's be exclusive, and then she agreed, and he gave her the key. And my
Okay.
thing
Let
is,
me
okay,
tell you this. Let me tell you
just
this
take
real
one
quick.
of those. Just take one of
Okay.
those. Like, why even give her the key?
Okay,
Like,
let
what's
me
the
answer that
point?
question. Let me answer that question, the modern dating thing, and women take notes. Back in
All
the
right.
day, a key meant full access. We are on our verge to maybe, date exclusive and maybe living together. And he wants to kind of see how we interact within his house and things of that nature. We're playing house. Nowadays, the key only means it's easier access for sex. Now with the key, if I'm out and about, you can come unlock the door and wait for me to come back to the club from the club, and you're already at the house. Now the key means totally different stuff now. Because even with that key, a lot of women, and she probably felt it herself, don't feel like they can just come over without announcing themselves or sending a text or giving a call first. And they, like I said, the key just meant, hey, I want you already there for when I come home for work, when I come home for doing that, playing basketball with the boys and something like that. You can already be there at the house, so we could do what we was gonna do or whatnot. Does not mean that I'm giving you access to my life.
I still don't get why the key. Have you done that? Is that something guys do? Like, you give a woman a key to your place, and then you're still seeing 2 and 3 and 4 or 5 other women? Like,
I don't give a woman my address, but
what do you don't give her your address? Where do you take her when you're ready to have hot
nah,
dogs?
but you got to be, he's just, like I said, he's very, I ain't gonna use the word immature, but the fact of the matter is, you can't, these women crazy, man. You can't have that many women access to knowing where you live and things of that nature. If you want a nice drama-free life and be able to succeed and work and grow, you can't do that. How can you get a good night's sleep at night knowing that women might have made a copy of that key, and some women might be
Ooh,
vindictive or even just have some
ooh.
mental issues? You know what I mean? It might not have anything to do with you, but you can't do that. The sex ain't worth it. Yeah, so I'd rather have peace of mind in my home. That's why I try to be a little more selective of who knows where I live and whatnot. But I like to sleep peacefully. I like to sleep. My door is open. I like to sleep. Like, you know what I mean? I like to sleep.
Wait a minute, we going back to the old days, like when I was a kid and used to you sleeping with your doors open like that?
I like, no, not you can't no more, but I like to be able to think that, you know what I mean? I want to live in
Right.
that type of
I,
peaceful
I,
atmosphere where I'm not worried about different things. And honestly, even myself, I didn't heard, you know what I mean? Some people that came up with, it's just crazy out here, man. I ain't gonna lie.
mm,
So yeah, he gonna learn that the hard way. But the fact of the matter is, I get what he was doing. Hey, okay, we going to the end. He's happy about that. Um, they probably have started to be at that point, started to be a little intimate. Fine, they're
mm,
adult. Okay,
okay.
I'm gonna make it seem like we really good. I'm gonna throw her this key, make it seem like I got nothing to hide. The guys who got the most to hide are the ones who do moves like this. Because they always trying to prove themselves. Like you say, he been doing the whole. See, I'm trying to prove myself, trying to prove I'm right. I'm trying to prove I'm right. So they'll go through a big step like this, give you the key and things of that nature. You got nothing to hide. Ain't doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He's not trying to prove anything. He knows that it ain't no other women around, and he's intentional, and this is how it's gonna be. Somebody throwing a key in 3 days, that should have put a red flag in her head. Like, why would he do that? Okay,
Well,
that means
now wait a minute. So 3 days, but let's tack on however many weeks. What is that process you guys go through? About 6 weeks. So she's tacking on. She's thinking of it as 7 weeks or whatever. But you're
yeah,
right.
nah.
That
But
moves
the
awful
process
quick.
wise, you're
That moves
talking to
awful
other guys and every. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about 3 days after they didn't hit the bridge and said, okay, we is all the rest of the ready to love stuff over because it's just me and us. We the last ones here. Now what we gonna do? He said 3 days after that, he's giving out a key. That would have red flagged me if I was a female and saying, okay, he's trying to prove something. He's trying to, I'm good. You know what I mean? That's in his head. In reality is a whole different story going on. If you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
Some men want to be,
I appreciate
and
it.
that's why the smooth talking comes in. Some men want to be the Obama in their head,
Yeah, never
but they
be
live in a whole different
Obama.
lifestyle. It ain't about what you want to be in your head. What is your action saying? What does your lifestyle say? What is this? You might want to be. You might have very good intentions in your head, but they're not going to play out on paper if that's not how you moving.
Let me ask you this question, because we're going to do a panel on this coming up, and this is something that I spotted on another YouTube channel, another YouTuber. Shout out to Kojo, Little Black Book. But Seaway, one of his panelists, brought up a very good point. How much of this, what's going on in modern dating, do you feel like, on both sides, for men and women? I'm not trying to point fingers at just the men. I'm not pointing fingers at just the women, but on both sides. How much of these issues that we see, especially in our community, do you feel like are intertwined and related? Not all together, but in some large part, or some maybe smaller part, related to the Black family not having fathers in the home? Because I think there's a correlation. What do you think?
I'm glad, JR. You answer that. Start off.
It could be. I mean, there's a one size fits all answer, but definitely could be. I don't know if there's any stats or any data to support that though.
See you, sissy. I see you. Sissy says,
because I'm from the UK, it's a lot different here
stanky
than it is over there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. So you kind of threw it over to Ron. You kind of threw it over to our UK guest. So this is kind of in-house, I guess.
Oh,
But
yeah,
kind of
in-house.
You guys in the comment. Wait, hold on one second. You guys in the comment, if you, I don't know if you guys saw Kojo's recent I think it was the debrief he did after he interviewed who was that? Alonzo, surprisingly. And in that debrief with Seaway and himself, and shout out to Sean Unfiltered, there was some conversation that Seaway brought up, and I thought she hit on a really important point for those of us in the US, that with a lot of fathers missing from the home, to what you're saying, you triggered it in my mind, Ron, because you talked about Obama. A lot of men in our community are not going to have that Obama experience because, one, they don't have the integrity. Let's even go there. They don't even have the integrity and the honesty that this man Obama has, right? And how I can say that without even knowing him is because if there was any dirt on him going back before he was elected president of the United States, we would have been knew about it. Trust and believe that. Okay. Because them folks was digging. They was digging. Okay. And they could not find anything because this man has stellar integrity. So now what I'm saying is, it's like in the community with us, a lot of times we don't have fathers or father figures. Now, Obama, true enough, his father wasn't in the house with his mom, but he had a grandfather, thank God. He had a grandfather who was married to his grandmother, and he could see the relationship of how a man properly treats a woman that he cares about. That's what I'm talking about, because a lot of men and women in our community nowadays, they didn't grow up with a father in the household. So they have no concept of what it's like to have a healthy, loving relationship with a person of the opposite sex.
I agree with that, but also women are very powerful, and they control how this dating situation works. It's not the men. If women said all men, next man is gonna get some sex. We like pink shirts with polka dots and yellow stripes. Every man's going to get a pink shirt with polka dots and little yellow striped shirt. That's just how it is. They condone that, conduct how the flow goes, and they've made adjustments. And the men have made adjustments to their adjustments. It don't lead with the men. So because of those adjustments, men who had integrity and things of that nature, let's keep it real, a lot of them got looked over. And when it came to women pursuing careers and getting into this situation and having a little more masculine energy, but still needed sex, still has had same needs as men have or women have or always had, then guys like Alonzo, they switch their game up. They say, okay, well, hey, I don't have to be attentional 7 days a week. in order to get a woman or have a woman by my side or not be lonely or to have access to sex and things of that nature. I could be a man 2 days a week. Or I could be a day and a half, or I could do this and I could do that. And men are gonna adjust to what they can get away with and move how the general woman society is moving. But yeah, I know a lot of guys who have a lot of integrity and they got looked over. They're not exciting enough. They're not this, they're not that. They don't make this certain amount of income. They can't supply this type of lifestyle. They're boring. You know, a man without integrity is working or boring or at home. You know what I mean? He lives a whole different lifestyle. That's not the majority of the lifestyle, especially on the weekends and things of that nature that a lot of us is living. And I don't know if we blame that on them not seeing it through a father or whatnot, but it's not being rewarded. And if you're going to live a life of integrity, hard work, dedication, if you're going to block all your desires and things of that nature and do it for the right cause, it has to be rewarded. And no man's going to do it. You tell him just do it just because. Obama had a vision. He wanted to be president. Most of these guys don't want to be president.
Yeah, well,
they want to be president of their household and things of that nature, and they want to be respected. But if they're not even getting that, they're like, well, damn, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know what I mean? Here's a prime example, and I always use this quote, and I got part of it from my dad. I did grow up with a father.
Oh yeah, I seen your father.
And yeah, and I had this before I had my daughter, but I was making a pretty good amount of money, and all my friends were like, "Yo, you need to go on this trip. You need to do that," and I'd be like, "No," and they'd be like, "Why? You got the money." Like we scraping over here, scraping to try to go on this nice trip and ball out and do this and be on the women and stuff like that, and you're not going and you got the money. What's wrong with you? And I said, I got to keep a certain amount to the side. And it's like, for what? And I said, I'm saving because I was taught this for a woman and a child that doesn't even exist yet in the world. And you don't get no awards for that, no trophies. You do it because you're supposed to. I don't want my future wife to look at my books and be like, oh, you were living this type of lifestyle. But when I see the real paperwork and what's really in the savings and things of that nature, is not good. I've seen this situation over and over again. I don't want anyone to bring a child in this world and I can't make the payments. I can't, you know what I mean? I can't do that. So I started that process early to say it might come, it might not never come, but just in case, I'm supposed to have this set aside for that. And when you do something where there's no immediate reward for it, it's just a different mindset. Nobody, gave me a pat on the back for that or anything else like that. It's just what you're supposed to be doing, I guess. But men are like, hey, if I'm not getting a reward for something these days, or I'm not getting a pat on back, or I'm not getting noticed, or the women are still dating the hood dude on the, or something like that, then I might as well go on a vacation. Might as well go with it. and that's how a lot of men are feeling these days. And I said the women set the tone for that. You guys set the rules and regulations. We follow your lead. It ain't the other way around, the way you guys are trying to make it. You guys set the trend. It's like a rap music, whatever sets the trend for clothing. You guys set the trend for what the dating aspects are.
All right, JR, hop on in here. We haven't heard a lot from you yet. Just getting back to, let's take it on back to Patrice and Alonzo. Anything else you want to add to the Patrice and Alonzo situation? We see her in the confessional, and she basically gave a brief statement, and she said, I don't want to mess my makeup up. She seemed actually kind of hurt by it, but I don't really know, to be honest, and I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't really know what she was expecting from such a immature person. I really don't know what she was expecting from him.
Well, as I said, out last week. From what I saw in the preview, it didn't look good to me, and I was surprised at the extent to, but I this is the problem. This particular girl is someone that he was linking during the process, and even though him exclusive, he was meant to have been on the show. Nobody there. Like, it's supposed to be focused on trying to make these new connections, not have some already. So that's why I think Patrice was hurt, because after going and then choosing him over Chaz and feeling like she's got butterflies and all of that stuff, I guess she felt kind of duped. Whereas I think Alonzo tried to do his thing on the and basically tried to defend something that he couldn't defend once it all came out. You know, he was so serious trying to stand, but nah, and that it was worse than what was initially thought. So I think Alonzo initially came in with the sexual innuendo conversation, leading with all that stuff. Then when he saw booted off, and he swiftly decided to change course and become the guy that's gonna fill you with fluff and tell you the tongue nonsense. It kind of like we discussed, and she fell for that, and I, similar to what you said earlier about Patrice probably not being courted in that way. It probably felt like having a younger guy's attention. He's virile, he's tall, no prior children or anything. She probably thought she was onto something, but yeah, he really did. And it's even worse when some of the videos he's put out to try and explain some of the craziness. But at the end of the day, it looks like she just made a wrong choice. I'm not saying she should have chose Chaz. She could have chosen herself as well. But Alonzo, I didn't see it.
Like I said, just met Alonzo, good dude, fun dude, very fun, loves to dance.
I'm sure he's fun.
But here's the thing: if you're gonna get with a guy like that, because there's a lot of Alonzos out here. Let's just keep it real.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of Alonzo. You can't. It's not the right setting for it, because you got to give a person like that some time, and they didn't have the time and things of that nature. He ain't going. He's not intentional enough to put it together that quick. Not saying he can't possibly put it together down the line, but you're gonna have to work with somebody like that 5, 6, 7 months. He's a slow roller. You know what I mean? It's men and women like this, but you can't expect that outcome to come that quick with him, and he shouldn't expect that on himself. And that's where the honesty comes in, where he goes, "Hey, man, I'm not gonna be able to court you probably and put this together in this amount of time. Impossible. I didn't stop dating. Obviously, he didn't stop dating, or doing what he was doing during the show, because he said he slept with the side girl, and you can't turn that off as a man like that and then get in position where you could play house that quick. It's impossible to do. And if she really liked him and she saw something in him, she should have had that conversation with him and said, "Hey, I'm about to give you some, you ain't ready yet. So we could date, we got fun, we gonna give it some time and see where it comes out to." But you don't get as a man, you're not gonna get those chances now. If a woman gets a glimpse of you moving wrong these days, she's gone. They don't play no more. Like, it doesn't work that way. So like she said, when she said she talked to the ex-girlfriend thing, that it's funny that when he did the choking and spank thing, she was like, oh, he was just playing. She got over that when he said that to the young lady. But when it came to how he was moving, she said, hell no, I'll give him another chance. So yeah, how you move, you better be upfront with these women. If you need more time or you need something, you're gonna have to say it, because once you move wrong, you're not getting back in. And who knows, that could have been a possible relationship down the line if it was just communicated more honestly.
Yeah, more honestly and clearly. I agree with you. Okay, different question, but using this as a catalyst. Can men and women have opposite sex friends that are truly platonic? What do you think? So you're dating a woman and you see her oftentimes, or she's on the phone or she's texting, and you say, hey babe, you guys are in a committed relationship, and she says, well, oh, this is my platonic friend Joe, Bob, Sam, Tom, whatever. And do you think that a woman can have a male that is just a platonic friend? He's not homosexual, by the way, or vice versa.
Yes,
Men can.
I believe it 120%.
Okay.
Because I'm that friend to dang near half my castmates.
Okay.
I'm not going anywhere out of Kyra's life. I'm not going out of Benicia's life. I'm not going out of Simone's life. I'm going to be there. I got a friend named Angel who comes every time she comes to town. She stays at my house. She's married in Hawaii. It has to be a reason with the backstory. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to date my castmates. They're like my sisters. You know what I mean? This woman is married and she's, we've had a long friendship relationship. But I think as men, you have to have those type of friends as females to kind of put you back in check, to kind of, that you can bounce ideas, to give you a different type of energy from your male friends, and, just a different type of compassionate friend. But I do think it takes a certain guy too to realize the difference of what friendship is. Like I say, I call them my sisters. I do that to let people know that these are just platonically my friends, and to let myself know 100% that, yeah, this is the way I got sisters. This is the way I need to treat my female friends at all times. And I never really have I've never had a sexual thought or anything about them, or anything. They could walk in a room naked and I probably go into the other room. So I guess it just depends on the person. But like I said, I have to say I believe in it because I live it.
Okay. Has it ever caused you problems in a past relationship?
It does, because a lot of women don't understand. Some people are closed-minded. But I think if they're around long enough and they don't just let that emotional outburst of seeing it make them make a reaction on it, then they get very comfortable real quick, and they be like, oh, it ain't nothing going on here. Oh, they really move like brother and sister. Or they really, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing going on like that. I think at first everybody thinks, that, something different. And I ran into it this weekend. Like I said, I gave, we was up there with all the cast, with Dallas and DC and then some Houston people. And I was the one, I'm giving Simone a ride back home. So she's with me by the hip, and I'm getting her stuff from her Dallas house in my car, packing it up and making sure she's good and things of that nature. And the guys are coming to me who was interested in her, and goes, well, we didn't need to move on Simone like that because it's you. I was like, dude, it's my sister. It's been my sister before the show, way before this. Like, you know what I mean? It ain't that. Like, y'all
Right.
should know. Y'all should know the difference.
You guys knew each other before the show.
Yeah. And yeah, we've never, even thought about anything like that. But some people don't believe it. You know what I mean? Like you said, some people, like, it's guys that had to ask me, and I'm like, dude, we don't even move like that. Like, where are you even getting this from? But they just don't understand it. They see a attractive woman and a man together, and they think it's automatically has to be sexual or something going on, and it just doesn't always equate to that.
Okay.
Yep.
JR, what are your thoughts? Can you have a female friend and it be just solely platonic?
Of course. I like friends too. Friends that I've got go back decades with, or long time, met through work or university, just schooling or life or whatever. Yeah,
Okay.
like there's a clear distinction between being in the friend zone and thinking that you're in a gray area. All of my friends that are female, or that is platonic. There's absolutely no, interest or attraction on in any way where it's going to move further than that. A lot of them, they have their relationship going through. I have my relationship, go through whatever I'm going through. Because we're friends, it's like we always have, a mutual, how can I say, like a mutual respect for what we have going on in our relationship circles, our relationship
Okay.
lives. We're still homies. If we see each other on the street, uh, however it happens, however we communicate, is purely platonic. And I'm cool with that. And me, because I don't want to be in an echo chamber where I'm
Okay.
hanging with my male friends. A lot of my male think and move and act a lot differently than I do, and not necessarily in a positive level. Like I'm that didn't do a lot of the things they did. So to be hanging around with my friends that are male, that wouldn't be a good look for me, because um, I would probably be around that I don't need to be around. And again, it's just going to be a male perspective all the time, and to find out how women think, or what a female opinion on something. For me, it's healthy. And if you know where you are with with that friend or whatever, or your friends, then there isn't a problem. And as Ron said, like, these women could be attractive as hell to some people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have that chemistry with them where you find them attractive. So you're just purely platonic friends, and it's easy, very easy for me to make friends.
Let,
See,
let
the problem is this: you can't sleep with them. And
Right.
that's his,
That's what I
his
was
thing.
going to say. Let me muddy
Yeah.
the water for a minute. Let me
Exactly.
muddy the water. Let me backtrack on it. Okay. So let's say you have a friend of the opposite sex, and way back when, maybe 5, 10 years ago, you slept with this person one time. Can that person still be your friend and you're in a relationship with a woman?
It's harder because, and not from the man can, but women put some type of level of emotion to sex. So that woman's always going to feel a type of way, even deep inside. And you never know when that emotion comes out. She might try you. She might do this. It might make it hard on the situation. Man can have sex, forget about it 30 seconds later. You know what I mean? Like, we're different, programmed different. A
Right.
woman is holds that to bear. And it's crazy. Like people always be like, man, you and my baby mother, like, you're like so respectful and stuff. And guys who have baby mothers who have hostile situations ask me, how'd you do it? I say, easy. Don't have sex with them. We we had sex to make the baby. We even had sex or any kind of thing since then. If you keep sleeping with that woman, that emotional ties is gonna kick in at some point. You're not gonna be able to escape that, and you deserve everything emotional that she gives you with that. That's your reward for, for doing the deed. You know what I mean? That's how that comes. So you can't sleep with them. You have to make it clear that it's, like you said, there's a friendship. They make it clear. But yeah, once y'all have sex, that relationship now for me forever changed. And like I said, even if the male feels, oh, we just had, it ain't a big deal, which men feel that way, the woman might feel different, and she should. And a man would feel different if it was the other way around. A man's not gonna want to be around a guy that he knows and slept with his wife. You know what I mean?
Nah, no, that part,
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
want to be in the house. You know what I mean? Oh, Roger coming to the picnic. That's my friend, and you didn't told me to slept with the guy before, and now we up here, and he could be a friend. I could be
Mhm.
looking at it and seeing, okay, they are friendly and they are good friends, and he's respectful to me and everything like that. But in the back of my head, I'm like, why do I gotta be around a guy that I know has been with my wife? Like, I don't deserve that.
Nah, you're right. I agree with you on that. You would be mad. You think most men would be mad if their wife had a male friend and you thought it was purely platonic, and it is platonic at the point now that you're at. But let's say 10 years ago and before you met her, these two people were intimate. You think the husband would be mad about that? He'd be very upset because he didn't know, she didn't tell him.
Yeah, he should be, because you got this guy around me, and men are different. Like I said, I'm thinking of it from a man's standpoint. I'm dabbing this guy up. He's in my house. He in my food. You know what I mean? And he's been with my wife before. You know what I mean? And I didn't know about it, so I'm treating the situation different. My guard is different with the person around. It's just, yeah. Let me know. We need to have that's a conversation y'all need to have. That ain't no skip by conversation. If you're gonna be rolling with this person like that, and you guys have been intimate before, you better have a real conversation and and a sit down, and I better be on agreeance with the situation. But yeah, they just to spring it on you. That's not fair for a husband or a guy who's been committed to you for a long period of time, and you hang around this guy every week, and this guy has been to the house, and this guy's in the car with you by yourself or things of that nature, and he's dabbing me up, and me and him are now forming a relationship, a friendship, or whatever like that, because he's around a lot, and he's this whole time he's been with my woman, and I don't know about it.
Yeah. That I guess because that what it does is, if it's that situation, the wife has now betrayed her husband's trust by not telling him the full truth. When she could have told him.
You have to sit down. You have to sit down. You got to let the guys know. I understand that you think of it as, oh, yeah, I forgot about that years ago. That's my brother now. Things of that nature. You still got to let a man know if he's in the presence of another man, because nothing in the room is what you don't see in the room is you don't see all the testosterone that's coming out. All that male, we feeling it. The male's feeling the other male's testosterone, and we need to know. We already sizing the man up. As soon as the man walk in the room, okay, I might be able to kick his ass or something go down. You know what I mean? We size this, I'm in think. And we in our man alpha mode, and we doing our thing, and we want to know if this dude been with my woman or not. Sure, we want to know. So we know how to act with all that testosterone in the room and all that alphanism going on and all that man stuff. So we know how to taper it back, because we don't want to be in a situation where we get into it with another man and he got the secret.
Oh yeah,
Joker in the deck.
He might drop it on you when you get.
Yeah, it might drop it on you.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I seen that tattoo she got on her. You know what?
Yeah, so you know, as a man, when you size another man up, and this is not like, this is just internal thoughts of a man. You know, this ain't nothing out. He's smiling in this guy's face and everybody's cool. He's being real cool and stuff like that. But you're secretly sizing up the situation and saying, hey, something goes down, I can't whoop him. He too big. I might have to go get that chair over there. I might, you know what I mean? As a man, you putting yourself in the protector mode right there. And you want to know if a man has a big joker in his back pocket on you. Right, and it's your woman's job to let you know.
And you saying that would be a big joker. Okay.
That's a big joker. And you'd be like, man.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead anyway. We're gonna segue into the next segment. They brought up you got Will, and you got Alexis, you got Mika, you got Koshia, and they're out on the set now talking about Will and this sleeping on the floor rumor that got started in the ladies' lounge. I'm just still trying to understand, to Michelle Vessey's point, why. We get on the women over here too. I didn't understand for Mika or any of the women, why were they giving Will such a hard time? Like, either he's sleeping on the floor, he's not sleeping on the floor. Either he's maybe got a lot of money, earning a lot of money and very successful, or either he's not. If you're not interested in him, why does it even matter? Move along. Because Mika already said she was not physically attracted to him. So why all the vitriol?
I think it's kind of how Will carries himself, right? He's, like she says, a little guy, probably, not saying little man syndrome, because I hate to use that word and stuff like that, but he, as in his head, he's made himself very successful. He's gonna say what he want to say. He gonna carry himself in a certain way. He might even look down on some of the, you know what I mean? Like you said, when he called that girl out on her stuff, he had that ready because he was already looking down on some of the women and things of that nature. And then when you got this little guy walking around acting cocky and looking down at you like that, as a woman, you're gonna feel a certain type of way. And I think, yeah, I think some of the women felt a certain type of way about him and stuff like that. So he was easy prey to attack. If not, Will was a nice guy. Oh, hey, nice, and hey, beautiful queens, and then let me help you here. And he's like one of those, shorter, nicer guys that that caters and things and does all that nature and stuff, and doesn't roar with that much confidence and things of that nature. Oh, he would have been all their best friends.
Okay, JR, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, they just didn't like him, his personality, and you're calling him out for and fake stuff that he's got, but you filled with fake stuff too. Like you're rocking someone else's hair, the BBL.
I didn't understand these wigs this reunion, but anyway.
So you're trying to do the battle of the fakest. At the end of the day, I just think they just didn't like his personality. It rubbed them the wrong way. He didn't. He was cutting ladies off early. Yeah, it was just going to be a very petulant and back and forth situation because he is the type of person to defend himself when people are going at him. And I like you said, Mika, she clearly wasn't impressed by him. So yeah, no punches, and in fact, he was trying to restrain himself at times. He was trying to say, you know what, I'm not even going to argue with you, and then that's when he started spitting back. But
yeah, tell us about that spitting back because yeah.
Yeah, he's chirping back, but at the end of the day, I think he's quite prideful. I saw what he did last night on Kojo's live, where he made an appearance and basically just got tired of people creating this broke narrative and sleeping on the floor and all that stuff. He came, pulled up in his Rolls Royce, showed everybody, said, look him up, these LLCs, look up his companies, look up, do the research instead of just running the mouth, right? And so I think it's just a natural dislike for his personality. They didn't see anything, with him. He wasn't probably caught in them the way that they were. So it was just like easy for them to dislike him.
When he said that, he talked about Mika, and he said that she's got a BBL, and also she has had a mom that's had her tubes tied, a single mom that's had her tubes tied. Do we think he was hitting under the belt? Was he giving tit for tat? Was it all equal to what she was saying about him with the fake chain and calling him broke and those types of things? How do we feel about this man going back and forth with her, or her going back and forth with him?
Yeah, I think what he was doing, she said he was bad built and all the rest of it, and then she called him a scammer.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
that's what set him off, right? So
right.
Like I said, she's got a BBL and a boob job, so she point in time and she paid to get. Men, they don't usually do that. You just hit the gym, and then his other like his chain and his other things, they're all materials like super. Who knows whether they're real or not? But in terms of going back, like I said, he seems like he's not gonna just sit back and tolerate it. So, see, it is if you throw stones and hide your hands, then you shouldn't live in a glass house. right? Because the ones that usually disrespectful and run their mouth like that are the ones that are so when you turn it back on them. And that's what I get from Mika. You know, she was running her mouth a lot on that guy. And like I said, I'm not surprised that he fired back, because the theme of how he portrayed himself on the show.
Yeah, like I'm like, as a male on that panel on that show, you're in a lose-lose situation, because like you are going against a female, so it's like it ain't nothing you can do, and production knows this, and the women know this, and so they can say anything they want to you. They can go after your mental health. They can be they can say anything they want there to you. And as soon as you say something back, you're the one in the wrong. And from a male version, it can't happen the other way around. That's why it was like I said, I always tell the story, like on my time of reunion, I'm being set up. You got Amber yelling at me and stuff. I can't get a word out. KG sitting next to her. But what they made sure they said was, KG, you don't say nothing. Let the woman hound dog do all the yelling and talking. As soon as you say something to Ron has the right to stand up and come to you and say what you say about me. And you're not going to win that battle, because it's a man-to-man battle now. And you're not going to win a man-to-man battle with an alpha man who's up in your face now because you done said the wrong thing to him. You can't win that. The women going to win every single time. Let them women yell and bark and do this and put their piece on it, and he can't really do anything to defend himself in those situations. So, what is the right way? You hit back, because he had a right to hit back, and he probably was in the right, because in Will's real life, he probably dates better looking women than Mika. I mean, or the kid, whatever her name was, or whatnot, driving in a Rolls Royce, whatever, you know what I mean? Dallas with all the pretty women. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's like, what you calling me ugly for, girl? My last 3 been better. You know what I mean? In his head, he got stuff to say, but you're not gonna win because it's a man saying it to a woman. Now you sound with the new words for men who did. Now you're sassy. Now you're this. Now you're that. Gets for defending yourself. So you can't win anyway. They made the rules where you cannot win to defend yourself against another woman. And production knows to make sure all the combat is black woman on black man. There would never be no black man to black man combat, because you don't have enough bodyguards there for black man and black man combat. And we handle our stuff like men, and we stand on business. So it's always going to be girl watchdog yelling at black male and him defenseless. And if he does go at her, now he's sassy, now he's this and he's that. So, but what they don't understand is, what do y'all think that does to these males' mental health? Like, there's no version of male mental health or male. It's all female. We go through it too. Me and my brother was talking about the other day about women manipulation and what that actually does to a male health, and how they use sex as manipulation ways against males, and what it does to our mental that we never get. It's mental abuse. It is what it is, but it's no survey or anything on that to say what it is for us. So we just got to deal with it. And yeah, Will was getting abused. And the fact of the matter is, he was forced to even have to deal with it or make it worse. And just be put in that situation, that helpless situation, is mental abuse, period.
What part of it? Because she's name calling him and he's not allowed, you saying, because in our culture.
When you put a man in a situation, a grown man, a testosterone alpha male, in a situation where he cannot protect himself, it's mental abuse. She went after him. You thirsty, you this, you that. He tried to take it. He had to take it. Then when he was like, man, and then she said, oh, come on with it, because she knew she was going to win. And then when he said something after it, now he's the bad guy. Now you play victim. It's mental abuse.
Wow. Okay. I kind of see where you're coming from with that. I do. Go ahead, JR. It sounds like you got something to add to that.
100% agree with that.
Okay.
100% agree. Unfortunately, strong and silent mean when these situations happen and you got no outlet for it. then when it starts to carry over or spill over into the way you go out into the world, then yeah, like it's a lot, and it's visible, right?
You got to
And
be
you can
strong in
see
them
that.
situations. That just meant you took it. That's like the slave getting whipped by the master who doesn't, and Denzel in Glory, where he tries not to cry and you got to take the hits and take the hits and take the hits. And then you're a strong slave. You're a real man. Is he?
No, he ain't.
Yeah. So the only way Will was supposed to be
Because a strong
strong and
man,
not sassy is he had to take every abuse and name call in the book from her and stand there and take it and be calm. And then, oh, he's a real man now. That's as the slave getting whipped. They have to take the whips and hits and don't have show no emotion on it. And he's a real man. Yeah.
I get it. I see what I see.
yeah.
The
The
picture
crazy
you're
thing is,
painting.
they
That's
still
a very
wouldn't
good
have.
point.
They still wouldn't have seen him as a real man. Like even if he didn't say anything, they still wouldn't have said, "Oh, you know what? You're a man. We respect you for not saying anything."
Okay, right.
Seen him
You're
as a
right.
punk
You're
that took it.
absolutely right. Ooh. Ooh. You're right. He really was in a no-win position, is what you're saying, Jr. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in
At
a
the end of the day,
no-win.
like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's not you can't win, but do you defend yourself or not, right? And if you don't defend yourself, then you're going to be seen as weak, and people will continue to take those type of libs. So you stamp it out. Eventually, everyone their boiling point or their line, and if you cross it, then you're gonna get a reaction. And remember, this is a TV show. This guy's got to go
Right.
back in real life and deal with people in his real life and work and all the rest of it. So if he's sitting there being, his jewelry, his living status, his work status, all the things that he's probably come into the show that had made him who he is prior, career wise, then yeah, like a guy that really cares about his stuff is going to defend himself, especially because he has no reason to not say anything. He doesn't like Mika. They never had a connection, and she's not the first person that he's not the first person that she's had, which we'll get into later, rival. So it's just a clash of personalities. The type of person she is, she likes to take shots at people, and he's the type of person that eventually he's going to fire back with something that's going to be quite off the cuff, very and tied. That was a low, but again, if she has had her tubes tied and she's talking about having possibly more children with Justin, which last episode, then that may not necessarily happen because she's gone through that procedure. So she's calling him a scammer and all these different things. It just got too low. Two people trying to fight dirty, and he was in a no. But it's better to fight back than to not fight back at all or be punked.
No, you're gonna lose fighting back. Like I said, I was in that situation. I'm having two girls that are rehearsed and they're ganging up on me. And at the end, I didn't understand it. I couldn't defend myself. And Stacy, I'm looking at the castmates. I'm looking at Stacy B, and I was like, y'all know the real story. Why nobody stepped in and whatever like that? And she said, Ron, in these situations, you don't get it. You gotta save yourself. Well, how? Well, there's only one way to save yourself. You had to go so high when the one girl went low. The only way to save myself was to have been like, oh, beautiful queen, you're the wonderful, just kept showering this person with praise while they're going at me low, but I don't feel that way. So now mentally, how do I do that? And it's fake anyway, because I don't mean anything that I'm saying, trying to like get out the situation by praising you for you being rude, mean, and ugly towards me. You know what I mean? That's the only way out of it. If the Will would have been like, oh, I'm sorry you feel these things about me. I always thought you were like the greatest queen of the, you know what I mean? He had to go so high to shut her off. And he doesn't feel that. He'd be lying. So you want a man to lie in order to get out of that situation. That's the only way you can win.
what did the women mean? New portion of the same story, same segment. What makes a man appear thirsty? Why were the women calling him thirsty? You have any thoughts on that? If you heard this behavior, heard women calling men thirsty before, why was Mika calling him thirsty?
I
She was
think
calling him thirsty.
I think that was because
Wait,
yeah,
Jr.
I think that was,
There, go.
I think that was because of the way that he was approaching the ladies when he was going around getting numbers and stuff like that. With the way he got Cochia's number, like he was basically not courting or moving in a way that was romantic. He was just basically
Oh,
trying to get digits.
okay.
Probably, yeah, giving the impression that he wasn't serious.
Oh, okay. Okay. Very matter of fact. Like, hey, can I get your digits and throw them in my phone, or put your number in my phone, like that
Yeah,
type of
let me
thing.
get your social media. Yeah, that type of stuff.
Right. Okay. Okay. What about you, Ron? Do you know why
I,
they were calling him
yeah,
thirsty?
there's call him thirsty because he was thirsty, but he had to be thirsty. This gets me about this. Like in our season, Troy, they was calling Troy thirsty, right? But
Hmm.
Troy was the oldest by far of every other guy on our season. So he had to put in more work. Will's the shortest, littlest guy. All these 6'5" dudes walking around and stuff like that, he already knows he has to put in more work. So he has to put in more work than Alonzo at 6'6", and he's not as big, and he's got to put in more effort and stuff of that nature. So he's gonna come off more thirsty because he has to do that. Because in this culture, you guys don't view it the same way. You don't view 5'10" the same way you view 6'5", and you don't view Troy at 53 the same way you view Jason at 34. Look, environment. So it ain't judged the same. So those guys men. We know this. Men, we're not delusional. We're not walking around thinking, oh, we overweight and we kings and it's gonna happen. No, we know, dang, I'm overweight. I'm gonna have to put in more work than this other skinny dude over here with the muscles. Oh, I'm short. I'm gonna have to put in more work than 6'6" Joel, you know what I mean? I'm going to put in more work. So they're gonna come off with more effort, which is gonna look more thirsty. But they know as men that we have to do that because you're not viewing everything the same.
Okay. Okay. Next up, last one on this segment. Who won the dozens, Mika or Will? In your estimation, I'll start with Jr. Jr. Who won that? Who won the back and forth? If we're just going not by who we like the most, but we're going by with all the caps, who had the snappiest, best caps? Was it her or was it him? And you guys tell us in the chat. Did Mika win or did Will win? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mika won for a few reasons. Mika won because Will can't win. It's a no-win situation. Also, one of his clapbacks, many people didn't get what he insinuated by that. Whereas hers was straight and sharp. You're bad built, you wear a fake chain, you're this, that, the other, you're thirsty, she and to a lot of the audience, they're gonna feel like, wow, she read him, right? So yeah, Mika won.
Will can't win in this. There will be never a situation, or if the woman was just the most hated woman on the show of all time, where production on a audience of 95% women is going to let the man rewrite and erase the woman into dozens on a reunion show. Never going to happen. So like what Will said, this cat back and forth probably went on for 6-7 minutes. And production picked out the piece that they wanted and stopped it where they wanted and things of that nature to make her the winner. That's how it was going to go anyway. And they know the audience. And there's never going to be a situation they're going to let a man just boss up on a woman, on a strong, independent black woman on OWN network. Please. That's not how this works. It's never going to work that way. But he was going to win that situation anyway. They say, even if he won, let's say if the real situation went where he gets lit her up, then okay, you made it through phase 1, but phase 2, you got to make it through editing and production. And they're going to zip all that out. and put it right back to where it's supposed to be. Her getting you. Period.
Oh, this is a Miss Iffy, who's also from across the pond, like our JR. She brings up an interesting point. She says, I hope that Justin sits down with Mika behind closed doors and tells her her behavior was not acceptable for his sake, because how she behaves toward Will, she'll do it toward him. Any thoughts on that comment? That how she behaves toward one man, she may in turn get angry enough one day to do that toward her own man.
It's a very valid,
That man ain't running that.
very valid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very valid point because you know, if you don't have the controls, the self-control to stop running your mouth like that, then anytime you get incensed about something, that's going to be what you blurt, and that comes back to her towards men or things she's experienced with guys. But yeah, like even if he does sit down with her in his profession, you know, having kids around him all day and then coming home to angry girlfriend / wife, whatever they're going to be, that's not going to be a good environment for him. So, and he seemed like a pretty chilled guy. He seems like the type of guy that would take the time to sit down with her. But will she see the error of her ways, or will she just be tough? You know, you ain't going to change me type mentality. I don't know. I don't think she's coachable. From what I've seen, but then again, I've only seen the edited version of the show. I don't know in real life, so he may be in for a tough time trying to express how serious her behavior can be, like how detrimental doesn't fix that particular aspect of her personality.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Maybe with him being a teacher, I was just thinking with him being a teacher, he has the skill set probably too to kind of really tactfully break it down to her why she shouldn't come at men like that, especially publicly.
But she's not a child. That's the difference. She's not a child. So she would have to be receptive and coachable.
Okay,
yeah, but I'm saying this is how she may perceive it. If he sits down and tries to talk to her like that, then her comeback could be, listen, I'm not one of your children. You're not going to tell me what to do. Type of thing, right? Which I could easily see happening. So
that's why it's going to go. That man don't run that relationship. We know this. It, honestly, to this day, for a man to have that much say so within a woman in a relationship now, and let's just keep it real, you got to be paying bills. That's the only thing she going to look at, where she going to shut up on the dotted line if you got 6-7 bills in your name at her place. And then you could say, hey, you going to have to cut that out. Because she know if she don't, lights going to be getting cut off and water shut off and heat, you know what I mean? Things of that nature that really matters to her at the time. But don't, and you get him and you get the boyfriend now and you playing your role with her, she ain't about to listen to him.
Okay. That's a very good point. You know, what does it say? Money talks and all else walks, right? Well, let's hop on to the next. On the next segment, we got you guys got everything out we wanted to say about Mika and the Will situation. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, let's move.
Okay. All right. So so the next segment we got Glenn. We finally, months later, meet the missing Glenn from Mixer #1. The question is, do you feel like Glenn's anxiety is something that maybe you've ever dealt with? Was it real? And if so, what helped you to deal with your anxiety about being out in groups or being public speaking or whatever it might have been? Because I could see from my purview, my point of view, I saw Glenn having anxiety, and it did show up on camera as he was very uncomfortable with the cameras in his face. Ron, what were your thoughts? Have you seen that before? You've been on the show, so you have.
Yeah, maybe, like I said, for anxiety purposes, the Mixer where he was going to and stuff. It's the most anxiety-filled experience of your life, because what y'all don't see is they give us no direction. So you don't want to know what to expect. Nobody's telling you anything. You all are going there at different times. So most of the time you're just waiting in the car for about an hour and a half, 2 hours with your own thoughts. And then they just throw you out. You know what I mean? It is ridiculous. And they put you in that mental state. And a lot of people can't handle that. I was nervous. Like I said, I'm trying. I'm just, I'm the type of person where I'll just like, just do it and just jump into it. But yeah, nobody's feeling like extra confident out there when you walking around. You don't know what you're doing. Nobody gave you no direction. There's no go meet this person for this many minutes and go meet this person. No, you're on your own. Go out there and talk. And if you're the last person, like I was getting off on the thing, like it seemed like he was the last one because they was already there. Everybody already mingling. You got to go and interrupt another person's conversation, even talk to people, and everybody's competitive. And it's a certain situation. A lot of people couldn't do it. I don't blame this person, and that's not even, the tip of the iceberg. If he was feeling nervous on that and feeling nervous on the camera, I'm glad he left, because if that's your personality and you add that with the internet goons are gonna do and everything of that on top of it, then you're putting a person in a mental situation where it could be detrimental to his long-term confidence, his nerves, things of that nature that could affect a black male. So yeah, he shouldn't have been in that situation. And production should have known that in the most part. Don't put nobody who has anxiety problems, who is not very open, who don't like the spotlight, who don't want to be that into these situations because they can't handle it. It's too much.
Okay.
And production needs to know what's too much and what's not at this point for some people. Or else you can say you just don't care about the people, which we expect. But I'm like, damn, have a little compassion.
Right. Babs wants to comment. She says, why would he even sign up if he struggles with anxiety? Unless he was trying to push himself and get out of his comfort zone. Well, that very well could be, Babs.
But to answer her question, it looks so smooth on TV.
Yeah,
it looks so easy on TV.
Yep. That's it.
When you get out there and the damn camera pointed in your face, 13 of them, and this and that, and you meet strangers for the first time, and this and that, and it's not that easy. You be looking at them like, how you gonna make a TV show out of this?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, he's probably watching it like, okay, I can do this. This is nothing, until you get down to the point and you're trying to be natural, and you're trying to be yourself, when you're trying to get to know somebody, and there's 13 cameras in your face.
Now that you put it that way, I can't even imagine. I've had cameras in my face for a long time. I taped a game show eons ago, and I'm with a bunch of celebrities. The girls are on one side, the guys are on the other side. And when they got to me to introduce myself at the beginning of the show, I got so tongue-tied. I think I had to do that thing over again. It was like, what? And I at that point, I was already used to being in front of cameras, but you're right. So I couldn't even imagine what that would be like you said, trying to meet people of the opposite sex and trying to date on camera. I can't even imagine that, honestly.
And that's not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is the lack of information. My friend said the best thing that a doctor does to ease your anxieties, he lets you know what's about to happen. I'm gonna give you a shot. You're gonna feel a slight poke. I'm gonna numb it up, and then we're gonna claim it up. And so you know what's about to happen. So now you're a little more at ease when it goes down. Ready Love don't tell you nothing.
They'll give you no info, huh?
You don't get no info, so you don't know what's about to happen. And that right there is the anxiety. That's the nervous part of it, because you don't know. They tells you, hey, you're gonna go on a little date. We got these cameras over here. Ignore them. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna do that. Be as natural as you want to, and this and that. We're gonna have ice cream here, this and this. And you know what I mean? They gave you the play-by-play and everything was good. Fine. You're gonna go to this mixer. It's gonna be people talking and stuff like that. Just wait your turn. They gave you some more information about it. But just to throw somebody out there to the scene with no information is where the anxiety comes from.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense, because I knew exactly what I was supposed to do on this game show. I knew exactly what I had to do. So you're right. It was but I still got nervous. JR, what are your thoughts?
I think his struggle with anxiety is real. I don't think you can fake that. I also think that he was that anxious in the car on the way to the set, then
Yeah.
putting him on the stage with all the bright lights and the rest of the castmates, that must have been quite tough for him mentally. So I think it was something like, he had to make an appearance. It was too late for him to back out completely. Either he would have faced some type of sanction or financial penalty. So they had to find a way
Right.
him on the show still. Um, yeah, for 5 minutes, then have him mingling backstage, pretending to engage with the ladies. But he clearly stated that he didn't regret not coming on the show. Like, he was quite firm in that. And if that's a problem that he suffers with, being out in, being in front of people, amount, then you got to respect it, and he has to at some point go and do some, so that it doesn't hinder him in areas where face those situations, like presentation, or do whatever he does for work in thing or anything like that. Then you're going to need to calm those nerves, and you're going to need to overcome that fear, and and hopefully you can be successful in what you're going to do. But also, we have seen some cars make it onto the show say that they're struggling with the intense pressure of the cameras, plus everybody talking to each other, plus you got 3 or 4 connections at one time. So it's real. It seemed like he was really in some anguish about it. So I won't make
Let's
light of
clear up
it.
the fact that
That he Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I want to clear off the fact that there's no financial impact for him not showing up. That's false information. He's not in a track where he's going to lose any money or they could sue him or anything like that for him not showing up.
Okay.
Yeah. So that ain't that. He's an at-will employee, and he don't show up. You don't get paid for that episode, but that's his choice. So he can leave any time. What probably helped him come on the reunion, to be honest with you,
Right.
is probably watching the show and seeing how wild this cast was. And he's like, man, I can't do no worse.
Oh wow! Come on now.
He probably watched
Well,
this
wait a
like,
minute.
man, hold up, maybe it ain't as bad as I thought. If this person did that, dang, I can't do. So low, you can go.
Wait, hold up a minute. Okay, let's go back in timeline. If the reunion was shot in October, the show was filmed back in April, May, something like that of that year. How is it in October? The show didn't air until January of this year. How is he able to even see any of the?
Because they have the episodes. Actually, as a cast members, before we go on a reunion, we've seen pretty much every episode besides the last 4.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's how we know how to react to certain things and stuff like that. They give us enough to see. So they maybe gave him the same snippets to say, yeah, see how these, don't be embarrassed or anything. Look what's going on. These fools cussing and things of that nature. You're gonna be okay. And he probably looked at that and then made a decision, because all they could do is ask him if he come over. And they say, yo, sit down, watch this. Watch the episodes and see what you think. And he said, man, okay, I'll go on now. It ain't, everybody else being them, it ain't no downfall from it and stuff. Like, if that person is cool, I'll be fine too. So I believe that's how it happened.
Oh, okay.
Because if not, you're gonna be like, man, I didn't do the show. I don't know what's going on. I ain't about to go to the reunion and sit there for 15 hours. You got, it ain't worth it. I'd rather just be like I wasn't on the show, and it's just easier. But yeah, you didn't set them down. You try to convince them because you want that segment, and you didn't play them the episodes. And he probably looked at it and said, I can't do worse. Let me jump on.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you're right.
That's what I talk about, how you calm a person with anxiety's nerves. You tell them what's about to go on. You show them You give him information. He got information by watching the season, you know, up to that point. And now that he got information and saw it, he's like, oh, okay. And then you take the elimination out of it because it's just a reunion show. The elimination gets you a lot of anxiety. Nobody wants to be the first one eliminated. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
And yeah, so they talk to me.
Yeah, and I'm thinking probably too, maybe somebody in his family, his friend circle that knew that he was supposed to be on the show, probably kept bugging him and saying, "How's that going with the show?" And he had to tell him, "Well, I never did go to that opening mixer." So then when he found out from the production company that he could still come to the reunion and kind of make somewhat of amends, he said, "Well, I might as well go and do that." Because to your point, Ron, he doesn't have to go through any elimination. All he has to do is just dress up nice, come to the reunion and say, "Hey, I'm here. This is what happened."
Yeah, that's all he has to do. But I believe they had to talk him into it because if I'm him, I'm not going because I'm just going to tell everybody I was never on the show. It's just easier that way. There's no proof for me being on there. You don't got me on there. You know, they didn't show my face or anything like that. So therefore, I can say I was never on the show and live a nice, peaceful, happy life like all you guys get to do every day.
Right. Because Glenn technically could have been any Glenn, right?
Could have been any Glenn and stuff, and I just would have told nobody I was on it, and it's fine. But you know, what I mean, they're good at smoothing you up and talking, and they probably say, you know, watch this first. See how anybody else, you don't got nothing to worry about. This, and that, be coming on and stuff like that, and get them there because the reunion ain't worth going to unless you know what I mean. It's a long period of time. We're 15 hours. You're sitting there waiting. They ain't paying you barely no money for that episode. Like it's not worth it unless you're kind of talked into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he must have been. Well, anyway, for the ladies that's out there, I thought Glenn was good looking. Thumbs up or thumbs down, guys? His looks, or did you like the way he was trying to talk to the ladies? He seemed to be a little uncomfortable with some of them. Specifically, we had a little thing with him and Alexis. She was talking to him and she was asking him. She was doing that rapid fire questioning like April did way back when. And he told her, he said, "Well, let me go fill your drink." And he walked away and started talking to some other lady. Did anybody catch that?
Yeah, of course. That's the standard reaction for that, like that interrogation technique. It's going to make someone like him feel uncomfortable. He already doesn't like the pressure, so applying pressure to him, he's going to bounce. That's going to be a first thing that he thinks about doing. But I think with Glenn, it could have been out of sight, out of mind. Like nobody was really checking or thinking about who this Glenn guy was to the point where they needed to see him. So I think it could have just been some filler then. If it wasn't a financial aspect, then I think it just could have been some filler just to, either lighten the mood or, create a side story because there was going to be so much hostility on the panel. On the stage.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. He definitely added, I guess that was some filler time that they were able to use up for this segment for part 1.
It was a good segment because you had the girl too who had the connections and stuff who had to leave early. These things don't happen a lot. Where you have a person never happened when a person didn't show up and then the person had to leave that early within the season. And like I said, she left with connections at the time.
Oh, okay. Some people want to know, do you think he was paid for that just for being on the reunion? Did he come? Was there a check that you guys got for just?
Yeah, we all get paid for the reunion, but it ain't enough money. It ain't enough money for him to go. They had to talk him into it.
Okay. I'm gonna go with what you're saying, Ryan, because you know more about it than I certainly do, and I'm kind of like you, Ryan. If he missed the whole season, I'm like you. I probably would have just bowed out altogether. But that's just me talking.
Yeah, you say that, but I mean, like I said, if they played they helped him with anxiety and stuff, and if they really want you there, they're gonna get you there. Shoot, Tommy called you up and say, "Man, we keep making you gonna go." You know what I mean? Like, man, come on. And they're gonna promise you, they're gonna say, "We're gonna put you in a good light." They did. We're gonna give you a little speedy dating routine. They gave them some time, some talk time. You know what I mean? You're a person. They took care of them. They did them right.
Okay. I thought so. I mean, like I said, he didn't really have a bad experience, I guess, just being at the reunion, but the process of elimination might have been a little bit too much for him, it looks like. Let's go on to no, that's last. Leeling and her connection. So we remember Leeling went home early because due to family illness. But she had created some connections, and quite a few of the guys were interested in her and had her as their top pick, including Chaz. Um, what do you guys think? What did you think about her being back? And she said that basically she didn't need any of those connections, that she's already dating. Were you surprised, Jr.?
Mm, no, not really. Um, from what we've seen of her, she seems attractive enough to not have a problem with getting male attention or finding suitors. Uh, so, you know, maybe she wasn't in a situation where she needed the show anymore, which is why she was so able to go off for personal reasons, which may have been very genuine, but to come back and she's already got a relationship sorted or anything and things like that. So she didn't need the show. Like she already found a relationship off camera while she was out dealing with the family issues or whatever the case may be. Um, yeah, like she had singing her praises, talking about how she was his number one connection at the time when she left, and a couple other dudes. So yeah, I don't she would struggle, and she gets a lot of compliments from the audience as well. They see her as very well spoken and very presentable and mannersable. So yeah, I don't see why she wasn't surprised that she's got a relationship.
She's beautiful.
She
She's
seemed like a problematic
absolutely,
person. So
yeah. She seems very,
exactly,
the little bit that we saw of her, she seems very even keel and very genuine. Um,
it would have been
Yeah,
interesting to
nice
see
dress.
if
Go
who
ahead,
was it?
JR.
Who was the dude that I think it was Jonathan, right? Her and Jonathan
Hmm.
shared that heritage. Um,
Oh yeah, the
I think
Nigerian
that
heritage. Yeah.
yeah, so it would have been interesting to see if that went anywhere, but
No, they
other than
kind
that,
of,
you know,
yeah. Yeah, but they kind of remember at that point when they met and they talked, they kind of established that it was a no-go. He established it, at least he said it in the men's lounge, that she was pretty and that, but she wasn't like, it was like not a romantic fit for him. That wasn't his pick at that point. I think Alexis was his pick. Eventually we found out.
yeah, at that time. But as we know, that was early in the season, and if she had stayed, you don't know how far she would have made it, and whether that changed that later on. Because we
Mm.
didn't expect Patrice, Chaz, or Chaz to gravitate towards Patrice. That was like the final week before elimination, before the bridge, pretty much. So you know, there would have been time in the process for. Not saying it would have, but I'm saying that there would have been time
It
realistically
it wasn't
for
gonna
the connection.
happen. Like this male cast, they were not. I'm just gonna be honest with you because I was there. They weren't female favorites. I like I said, I went to the males party in DC, the reunion party and stuff. We had 16 people come from out of town, future castmates and stuff like that. Still, not one woman from this season showed up to the party. Not only two from the previous season showed up, and they were
Really?
out all weekend. They just didn't show up around. They didn't want to be around these guys.
Oh wow.
We saw all the other castmates. We went and broke off and did our own thing. But they were
Yeah,
like, "Oh yeah, you can meet us here. You can come here." And like, we're not going anywhere or where they're at.
yeah, that seems to be a true statement because I'm getting inside sources that are saying we saw it as bloggers. We saw it at the beginning of the season when they had their premiere party. It was the women over here and the guys over there. So I was like, what in the heck is going on?
They made a strong alliance, and they did it with their season. They did it with the season previous to that, and all them girls were on code to saying we don't mess with them like that. And I've never seen it like that. Because our reunion party was integrated. Even I don't care who you liked or who it was. Hop on this red carpet and smile.
Exactly. I don't. Yeah. I don't know.
Especially when like gets right after a reunion. I mean, like it's a reunion party. At this point, people. And honestly, I get that you guys they did some of the interviews a little early and things of that nature, but
yeah, they were trying to get out ahead of the devil.
Trying to get ahead of it. Yeah, but still, not all the information is 100% out yet, and to be on odds with each other like that is different. But that was a sediment of what it is. So I for her to say, oh yeah, I want to talk to the men now and stuff like that, and the women were looking at her like, you're not on code. And for Chaz to say, yeah, you was my man, Chaz cannot make up his mind on an opinion if it was going to save his life when it comes to a female. And that's real life. And that's just how
don't discount our boy Chaz because Chaz is already he drops his information at the end of this segment. He says that he's engaged to be married. So come on now, let's give him some credit.
He's been engaged the whole show. But the matter is, you still didn't try to talk to every single girl. It was girls it was other castmates that were coming in town and stuff like that. You were all in love with them too. You can't make up your mind. And that's okay. That's just his personality trait when it comes to, I guess, relationships and things of that nature. But what I don't mind helping him out to find love, whatever you got to do, or hooking him where he is. I think he's a good dude. I like him. But the fact of the matter is, you got to be able to, as a male, the strongest thing you can bring to the table for yourself, for your own happiness, not for anybody else, is to have your mind made up of how you are and how you're going to move. So if you're as a man that just wants sex, make up your mind on that and say, okay, I'm going to be dating women for sex and I'm going to move this way. And anybody who feels indifferent on that, that's on them. Or I'm going to date intentionally for marriage and I'm only courting one girl, and whoever that, anybody feels indifferent, like that's how I move. That's how you make yourself happy, because you're moving exactly the way you want to move. Right, but when you're indecisive and you don't know, here and this, and I love her and I love her tomorrow, and she feels this, and I don't know if I want to date this type of woman now, and I don't want this and that, you're driving your own self crazy. And it's not fair to the females, not fair to you, because you need to know what you want first before you even dabble in any of this. And until you know that, you need to step out of the game, my man. Period. Because you don't know. I had a long conversation with Chad. He don't know, and it's not his fault. He just don't know, and he knows he wants to be married. He knows he wants kids. He knows them things. It's like a lot of women know, but they don't know what they want within a mate down to a science enough where they are confident enough to say, this is what I want, and I don't care if Holly Berry walks in the room right now. I don't care. I would ignore it like she don't exist. I want this type of woman. I want this. And I'm strong on that, and nothing can change that. Almost like a man who drinks Hennessy. Don't bring no vodka into the room. He ain't going to drink it. He's a Hennessy drinker. You need to know what you want. That's how you get happy. Hennessy drinker, happy with Hennessy. Bring the Hennessy in there. He don't know. And you could call it fiance and all this and stuff like that. And I hope he's sure. I don't know if he's sure of that. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't know, and you put in other people in different situations, but more importantly, you're putting yourself in a situation. And like I said, I would, from talking to him, I love the guy. I think he's genuinely cool. He is who he is. You know what I mean? But the fact is, just because you want something, and this is for the ladies too, because a lot of ladies want marriage. Oh, the clock is ticking. It's 40. I want to be married. I want to squeeze a kid out before this stuff. If you ain't ready, you ain't ready. You need to know what you want first and be able to identify that and be able to adjust yourself to get that. But just because it's offered to you and you want something doesn't mean that's going to be the right move for you. And like I said, you're not just cheating the person, you're cheating yourself too, because you can't generally be happy until you can, as a man, you can pinpoint exactly what you need.
Yeah, you're right.
And he was all over the place. He don't know. He just don't know. That was real. That whole I can't make a decision. Oh, that's real life. He can't.
I mean, but this has
That's what I
happened.
said too. That it
Yeah,
definitely
Jr.
looked like he was struggling with that.
You said what now?
Yeah,
Say
I was
again.
saying that I that's what I thought too. I genuinely thought he was struggling with indecisiveness, and that's part of his own anxiety to choose, and he's creating his own situation. Uh, I genuinely think like it was a serious dilemma that he was in. He didn't like the pressure being applied by some of the ladies. That made him want to chicken out, get out of there, and pack his bags. And then, but at the same time, I think he was there to find somebody, uh, but just not know what he was looking for. But ultimately, he chose Patrice. I will say this as well, like because I haven't said it before, but shout out to Chaz. Thank you for the shout out at
Oh yeah, thank you.
the watch party the other night. That was much
Yes,
appreciated.
yes,
And
very much.
but yeah, like I think Leeling, back to what we were saying, seemed to be one of the more friendlier personalities on there, and that gravitated towards her, regardless of their own things going on. Like she seemed approachable and smiling, and attractive, and in the right ways to get the male attention. Whether it led anywhere or not is because she might not have been feeling them, but they definitely would have had their eyes on her for a little while.
Hmm. I remember Alonzo even playing in her hair. Do you remember that? You guys remember that the first mixer? Alonzo was playing in her beautiful hair.
Man, Alonso was playing with far too much, and that's what got him into the situation that he's in right now.
Okay, you said it, not me. I didn't say it, but yeah, yeah. Okay, that part. Speaking of Alonzo, okay, let's move over to this part of the segment of the show. Alonzo and Koshia, choked or spanked? The great dilemma of season 9. Choked or spanked? What Alonzo would like us to believe that he asked that question and that it was a non-sexual question. What are your thoughts, Jr? Is he correct? Does it make
Uh,
sense to you?
man, well, like I'm from Jamaican culture, so what we do when we hear things like our teeth, right? Um, this dude, it was definitely a sex, and he was not in a sexually, he wasn't in a space of that type of conversation or ask those type of questions with Koshia. Like this is someone you've only known for a matter of slash days or even a week or two, and you don't have that type of connection. If it was LeBron that maybe like that, then it may have been received differently because she had a connection. Patrice on said that she didn't find a problem. She didn't see a problem with Alonzo asking that, but that's because the nature of their connection, she wouldn't have taken it so seriously. But Alonso didn't read the room at all. And like I said before, with the okay, I'm gonna just drop those. He admitted in his interview he likes to test the ladies and put them in situations under pressure and all these other different things. So asking
Mm-hmm.
sexual questions like that and then trying to hide and say, yeah, it wasn't sexual. Well, what else was it gonna be? Because the only way you would spank or choke someone isn't a sexual thing would be a DV, right?
Right.
So,
DV situation. Yeah.
which one is it? Yeah, like which one is it? You're not gonna spank or choke someone who you're really caring about unless you have some type of mad, and that's something sexual. You get a thrill from it, arousal from it in some way. So he wasn't in a place to say that to Koshia. I could see why she was upset and distressed, and she went off on him. And
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to take accountability for it. And, you know, this, he was involved in so much early on of the problems that were, you know, being aired. And like he really shot himself in the foot many times. And like I said, it seemed like as soon as Lamar got voted off for being overly sexual, that's when he
Right.
decided to slip into 90s R&B mode, love bombing mode. I'm a
90s.
serenade, I'm a charm you. Uh, yeah, I'm a museum out and take you on a date. I'm a ask you, do you think you could love me? And because I could love you, and all these type of different things. So when he realized the sexual upfront game wasn't going to work, that's when he changed, and that should have been the first sign that he was BSing. He wasn't in a space at all. She wasn't feeling him like that, and offensively, he doubled down on it and tried to make up some crap to get out of it.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Alonzo. You in this game of Ready to Love and in his regular dating game and how he does, as a man, the only thing you could do is you got to play to your strengths. And if you know you don't pay bills and you're having car troubles as a grown man and things of that nature over here, and you're saying I'm offering 6'6" in orgasms, and you're presenting that out and things of that nature, I have no problem with that. Lead to what you use to get women in real life, and my problem is don't lie about it. You got to stand on that square if this is who you're gonna be. And she say, "Excuse me," and you say choked or spanked. You say, "Yeah, you heard what I said. Which one it gonna be?" And you got to stand on your square because that was the game you were playing. You were leading to what your strengths are. This is what you
Right.
offer. This is what you offer. You don't offer
Nothing
super
else.
stability, yeah, and that and intentionalism and all this, and you don't bring that. So I don't mind you playing to your strengths, but you got to stand on it. Now you look weak because you didn't offered up your strengths and you didn't even stand on them. You know what I mean? You can that's whack game. You didn't play yourself. And that made you look silly. If you would have just standed on all this, yeah, I had a few side chicks on it. You know, I'm Zoe. That's how I get. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know, I choke and spank,
So,
and get, you know what I mean. Standing on it, people
ooh,
would eventually respect it because, like I said, it doesn't. You don't. Everybody wants to be politically correct on this show because they like, especially they got a little better at it now, especially my season stuff. We thought everybody who watched this was watching this show with a Bible in their hand and stuff. Like we didn't want to cut. Everybody want to do anything. Everybody wanted to say they was celibate. Everybody wanted to say they was, and it was a bunch of BS. We're real people. We date like y'all date in real life, and we do those things, and we adults, and all this stuff happens, right?
right.
So don't be embarrassed of choke and spank if that's who you are. Be you. He was talking to me like I couldn't feel like I can. You know what's my man name? The guy with the
Chaz,
long beard who runs his mouth. He say whatever you want to say.
Lamar.
Lamar, yeah, he said, "Oh man, you know I'm kind of like Lamar, but I didn't want to come off like that." I tell Lamar, "You coming off too quick." You know what I mean? You gotta ease it in with these ladies and stuff like that. No, man, be Lamar then, because at least
Be
we can't
yourself.
say nothing about Lamar. You know what I mean? Lamar is Lamar, and that's how he is. He gonna roll like that. You gotta stand on your square. Don't be you so worried about being eliminated. That's fine, but the fact of the matter is, you looked as silly. You out of everybody else on this reunion panel, you looked the silliest this whole time. You look like a bald faced liar, and you lied on stuff that men ain't necessarily supposed to lie on. You getting a little side something, fine. You know you're a man. You know what I mean? If you choke or spank, you freaky like that, fine. You a man. Like you can stand on those squares. The fact that you couldn't even stand on that, ain't no one about to trust you with anything.
Mm-mm.
You can't stand on sex, and you a man.
Right. Because
What you gonna stand on?
his old lady said, Patrice, back at the time when that was an issue before Koshia got kicked off, his old lady Patrice was like, "We all grown folks, and I don't have a problem with it." But I think for me, that's a little problematic for her to say because what you don't have a problem with is kind of like Alexis didn't have a problem with the men until she did at that pajama party, right? When Jonathan plumped her on his lap and she was stuck until the guys helped her up. So you don't have a problem with these guys until you have a problem. And Patrice found that out, and Alexis found that out. So,
and I ain't saying that it is inappropriate to say in that situation things of that nature, but he don't know, and he all he can do is shoot his shot. And then she said, "Hey, I felt uncomfortable." Then you, as a man, hey man, I apologize. You know what I mean? Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't, or sometimes some women are comfortable with it, some women aren't, because it is subjective. Some women are comfortable with it, some women ain't. He don't know.
Right. I get it.
No,
Yeah, so
true.
all you have to do is apologize and moving on. But the fact that you can't even stand on it as a man, if I was a woman, I can't trust anything else going on over there, because you can't stand on that. Out of anything, you should be able to stand on that. Let's stand on your sex. You're a man. You are. Hey, it's subjective. Some women like that question. We get a little freaky earlier. You ain't ready for it. I apologize. My bad. I like that stuff. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Whatever. Like they stand on it. Yeah.
You just said right there. Say that again. Hey, you don't like? I'm sorry, but I like that freaky stuff. That's all.
I like that freaky stuff. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like maybe we ain't ready there yet. Maybe you ain't what you do. But I was just seeing. My love language is physical touch. I kind of want to spank sometimes.
He could have smoothed it over, but you know what? That so reminds me of high school when guys would ask girls questions like maybe not to that point, but they would ask you sexual questions, because really what all a man is trying to do is he's trying to feel you out, and
that's all he's trying to do. Yep.
Right. The thing that he found out though was, and why I couldn't respect him, because he wouldn't leave her alone, because apparently, like, it's obvious she's not physically attracted to him. Like she said, LeRon knows and Chaz knows all about that. You can ask them, but don't ask me, because I don't like you and your messy dreads.
And that's how it is. And honestly, I don't know how to feel about that, because you ever see that meme that's out where they go, young Denzel Washington asked the question, choke the spank, it's cool. Freaking young Chris Rock asked that question, is now a sexual assault. Same question, same woman.
Yeah,
it's a no-go with Chris, but with Denzel, young Denzel,
that's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
Is. If she's attracted to you, if she's attracted to you, then you can, she'll have it. Like she'll see it, or you registering your interest. But if it's harassment, right? So
it's harassment the other way around.
Alonzo.
I don't know, guys, if it's harassment. If we're not at work, it's not harassment, but you're just annoying.
But I'm saying the way she went off on him, the way she walked away, if she was highly attracted to him, that reaction would have been different. Even if she was offended, it still would have been handled differently.
Yeah.
She went all out of it because she wasn't attracted to him.
But here's the other part.
That's
of it,
why
though,
I said,
go ahead.
Ron, that's the same thing during their connection. The problem. But but because it came from someone that she wasn't attracted to, she was heated about it, and rightly so, because she's not attracted to him. So, but for a long his shot, he and sometimes guys, you what type of lady you are, by the way that you respond to those type of questions. Some ladies are comfortable answering it, not knowing that it's not gonna lead any further because she's not attracted, and some ladies as that's the gateway to show that. Because she has the answer that you're looking for in that situation, so she's with it. She's down with whatever you're gonna put down. But yeah, in this instance, he shot his shot, and Koshia didn't like it, and she told him, and she stormed off. Then they met up later on, and she still expressed how she felt. Decided to come with some BS to try and change somehow what he said. It wasn't sexual. But like I said, if it wasn't sexual, then what was it? Because you don't need to spank or choke anybody in at all, unless it's going to be a DV. Obviously not going to be condoned or permitted. Like, no one's going to have that. So he lied his way into a situation yet again, and his way out this time because he's on the stage being put on full blast.
And here's some advice for the men. Man, just don't ask the question, because even if she gives you the answer that she wants to, these women be full of it anyway. You saw the women on there on the panel. They'd ask the question, "Oh, you could spank me all the time and stuff." Now, I'm not gonna believe none of that. They say that for the validation purposes, things of that nature. Like, you only gonna know until you know. All that talk don't mean nothing. However she answered that question, it does not matter. Trust me. I remember, we on our season, we were all having sexual conversations. We adults. Me and Amber used to have the most sexual conversations you ever heard in your life. I don't believe none of that stuff. You know what I mean? You don't know. Like, you know what I mean? So
You
don't.
weren't having it on camera though, were you? I mean, I never saw it. You and Amber.
No, we were not. They wanted to prove. They wanted production wanted to do something different. So all our camera stuff, they purposely took out, which they took out one of the best scenes of Ready to Love I've seen with the hot tub scene and stuff like that. But they did that because they wanted to make it.
You and
What?
Amber? You and Amber?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but they did it because they wanted to make the kiss seem like it was a big shock when it was like, dude, we've been talking from day one. You know what I mean? So it's TV stuff, but you know what I mean? But that was our relationship. But it didn't, you know what I mean? Let the kiss in the scene, they didn't leave the sex. So it's like, wait, don't take it with a grain of salt. Like, you know what I mean? So it ain't even no point even answering that question to fill them out, because what kind of filler are you getting? Women gonna say anything. It's like men gonna say anything to spice up the situation and things of that nature. Don't mean she backing that up with no action. And I know you've done it before, Aubrey.
What? Me? Moi?
You ain't never teased the guy with a little this and that, and you knew you like, I am not about to do nothing with this man, but you know, I'm gonna flirt with him and tease him up a little bit, because it's just this is the conversation we in.
Ryan, you don't know this about me yet, but
Mhm.
I'm a notorious flirt. I'm a notorious flirt. So you're right. You're right. But like to her point, I agree with her. I agree with Koisha. If I'm not physically attracted to you, don't try it. If you see me looking away or I'm short with my response, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people miss. It wasn't just that he asked the question. Everybody wants to say we are adults. We are adults. What the hell does that mean? We're adults. One adult for one thing may not offend one adult, and over here the same thing may offend this adult. That's first of all. But second of all, the fact that he was gaslighting her behind it, that's what triggered her. That whole part was that he was gaslighting her, just like he gaslighted Patrice. So Patrice got it right back. She couldn't see through it when it was another woman, but now that it hit her in the face and she pulls up and she sees the friend, the homie that's really not a homie because he just slept with the homie. So see how that turns around and bites you in your butt?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Similar to when similar to when Maya saw Laurent go off on Koshia, and basically what ended up happening between them. Now there's bad blood between them because of how he went off on her too. So, like, sometimes see the, and you should take note and stay away, right? Avoid. But Alonzo was doing his best to try and be a chameleon, and if the sexual game didn't work, like I said, then he'll try and talk some to try and lure you in that way. And he eventually won over Patrice, and his foot in his mouth, and made too many mistakes, and end up costing him the lady that he's, I don't know, 12, 13 episodes trying to lock down. And also think, he's quite, on his interview, he tried to come across very genuine yet again, and I think that was definitely getting ahead of the devil for what we were going to see on the reunion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he gonna talk, but them actions got to match up, and them it's got a lot. Like I say, I know about. I know more Alonzo than any other guys I know on this season. It's a lot of Alonzos. And they gonna talk. They're gonna sound good. They're gonna try to make it sound as smooth as possible. But I'm telling you, women, y'all need to start Carfaxing some of these actions.
You need to start what?
Carfaxing some of these actions, like what I mean.
We need to call Simone and do that check. Is that what you're saying? Do that?
Not even that. Like she did her due diligence, because she was like, she came in with a different car. She knew, like, let me figure out what's really going on here.
Right.
You giving me a key? Yeah, let me figure out what's going on. Let me go in and ask this woman what the heck. popping off and this and that. Let me do a little more research on this man. I'm not listening to a word. Because he was buttering you. If he already gave her a key, this fool was buttering her up all day on the phone. You're like, I ain't listening to all this at first. I'm looking at this dude's lifestyle and stuff ain't adding up and this ain't right and this and that. Let me figure out what's going on. And sometimes just because the guy gave a lot of women, once he gave you that key, you would have thought you was in there. I don't need to look into anything else further. He gave me a key, everything good. That's what he was betting on. She took it a step further like a grown woman, like she was supposed to. So I give her props for really looking into the situation fully. He didn't see it coming. Because like I said, his manure, his game and who had been working on
right
in the past, that's all it took was a key. It's like, I know Chicago, my dad used to tell me this. He was like, these women get an engagement ring, and these women be like, I'm not having sex till I get married. And he said, that don't work. He's like, you know how many dudes I know in Chicago with 17 engagement rings out?
You wrong, Ron. You wrong for that. I'm gonna speak to your dad about that too.
Yeah, that's my dad told me. So I'm like, so dudes are willing to give an engagement ring out, knowing they ain't about to marry you to get the cookies. What's a key to a $1,200 apartment? Nothing. So you got to look forward. You got to look over that and really figure out what you're getting yourself into, what's the real situation and stuff like that. If you don't feel that this guy is going to be 100% upfront and honest with you, and obviously he's already lied a couple times. That ain't necessarily how he gets down. So this is advice from the ladies. Sometimes you got to take it a little step forward. And I'm glad she did. I know she's glad she did. I know she was about to cry a little bit. I know she probably liked them, but you got to take that step.
I think so. I think well, let me hush. I was about to say something, but yeah, I think she did. I think she did. And to your point, Ryan, you brought up a very good point. She told us in one of her confessionals on the finale that one of the reasons why she picked Zoe over Chaz was because their telephone conversations were so stimulating, and he was consistent. He was consistent with his phone calls. He was consistent in pursuing her, but in hindsight, I look at it and I see that it feels like it was more love bombing. And watching him on doing his interview on Kojo's channel, I mean, like, I'm reading right through him, and then he gets into a almost an hour argument with Kojo about how it's not healthy for him to always be testing women. Like, that's his thing. He likes to test. Really what it is he likes to overstep boundaries. He's a boundary breaker, just like he was with Leeling with her hair. Just like when I went back and I looked at it, him hugging and greeting the women, he's very handsy. I never like a guy to be handsy with me. If you're not my man, don't be handsy. Okay. Like, that's not necessary. That's not what you need to do. But he's always testing boundaries, because when he finds a loose woman, he can take advantage of her. Like, hey,
yeah, you got to play to your strength, because you ain't about to pay no bills. You got to lead to your strengths. I don't mind that aspect of it. And he was actually a pretty good match, way better match for her than what Chaz was. And I met them both. They're two opposite different people. Okay. Yeah, so it wasn't that, and I think, she's a little older.
Wait. I'm sorry, I disagreed to something. You're saying that Alonzo is a better match for Patrice than Chaz would have been?
Oh yeah, big time. Chaz don't know what he wants.
And I guess I have to agree with JR, and she should have just picked herself, because if that's the case, if he's a better match for her than Chaz was.
But if you put yourself in her position, you're a little older. You got this tall man. You are attracted to him. He's fun. So fun. And he's talking nice to you and stuff like that. And you like, he don't got his stuff 100%, maybe where I would like it at my age. But the fact of the matter is, I could justify that with him being a little younger. So that wipes out the whole age situation. And then we can roll with it. It was almost like Liz and Jason. Exact same kind of situation. Liz was older. Jason was younger. Jason a little more playful. You know what I mean? This and that. Tall guys, both 6'6".
Okay.
The older woman thinking, okay, me and him could come up together because, he's a man, he's fun, he's good to be around, he's a little younger, but the fact that he ain't where he's supposed to be 100% financially wipes out the fact that he's a little younger. And now we can kind of do this together. and the men didn't see it that way in both situations.
Wow.
But both of the situations, the women were into the men wholeheartedly and fully and everything else like that. I get it. You like, okay, because you're going to see a lot of women in their 40s, 45s, 50s and stuff like that start to go younger. It's going to happen. It's already happening. It's going to happen. And they're going to justify you going younger to take less. Okay, if I'm 45 and I'm dating a 50-year-old man, he has to be here. But if I'm 45 and I'm dating a 37-year-old, he only has to be here. You get what I'm saying? I could justify that.
Yeah.
That's how it's working now in the modern way of dating. So, and you're like, okay, and a 50-year-old guy who is where he's supposed to be at, where he's super and got hundreds of thousands, just making a year and things of that nature, he ain't necessarily checking on me anyway. He ain't going 45, 48. He's going 38 himself. So we're going to play the same game. It's going to happen eventually. So what she was just doing was natural. 42, this and that. I want me a tall guy who got his stuff together. It's 42, but that person don't exist. He ain't there. I'll take a little less money, a little less stability, but I'm not gonna take it from a guy my age. I'm gonna take it for a guy that's younger. Okay. And that was the move she made. It just happens that he wasn't, in both situations.
It didn't make any sense though, too, from the perspective. I mean, I don't know if we ever got Alonzo. I don't recall during the whole season him saying that he wanted children, but I guess in my mind, I assumed that since he didn't have any, and he's he's getting to a certain age, that he would eventually want to settle down and have his own children. So it didn't, to me, that the relationship Patrice and Alonzo didn't make sense from that perspective. I mean, it would, in my mind, the only thing that it could have ever been was a fling. It just didn't make sense because you see a man, you see this person being represented on this show is not being serious, not being intentional, and not even being prepared to have a wife, doesn't have his own house, lives in an apartment. And he's even telling us he won't even put up artwork because why? Because one day he's going to buy a house. Like, really?
Yeah, and at this age, it's hard to be done. Here's the thing: is the fling would have been okay, but it got to be an honest fling with a 40-plus-year-old woman. And I mean, it has to be an honest fling. It has to be an honest fling on her terms, not yours. And even then, it's only gonna last for a certain amount of time. A woman's gonna want more. There's no such thing as a 4-year, 5-year fling to a 42-year-old woman no more. It doesn't happen. You might get a couple months out of it. And that's just being honest.
Right.
She's going to emotionally get attached to having sex with you every day, and she's going to want something more. And if you can't deliver it, she's going to have to go. It's too hard for her to stay. So, yeah, it could have been a fling. It could have been a little longer than how it ended. It eventually was going to end if he wasn't going to be intentional enough to bring her in fully. And that's just is what it is. But to say that it wasn't a match, to me, it in her case, like I said, and Liz and Jason, there were matches. It was real. Okay. And like I said, a lot of those, and a lot of times the man is okay. Like I said, the man is okay with dating the woman. I believe he's attracted to her. I believe he liked her. And all those things. But here's another thing. Like I told you about the time. A woman at 42 and stuff, she wants to move fast. Ain't no time to be playing around. And a guy that's 36, like that, he in his head, he had 3 more years to play around or to get it right or everything else like that. And when that 40-year-old woman put that pressure on you, like Liz did Jason, them men can't take that. They're not built for that at this point.
Jason
Crumble. But if she was willing to wait, it might have turned into something.
Anything else, JR? You got anything else on this one? Because we're gonna move on to the final part of this.
I was gonna say one of the reasons why the kid conversation never came up is because he was never seen as a serious candidate. Like that's why I don't think he got those type of
Mm.
questions, or they really cared
Oh
about that.
wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
it could definitely be what Ron says, which is more of a visual thing, a tour guide in interest, courting the right things that she wants to hear, pushing the right buttons, but
Mhm.
good for a short time and not a long time, right? Um,
Mhm. One of
and
those.
like, yeah, and then when you look at the lifestyle compatibility, she's got three kids,
Mm-mm.
and is he mature enough to step into that situation,
Mm-mm.
ready for that? And not just financially, but mentally, is he ready for what the family that she's going to bring in his life on a daily basis? We didn't see really evidence of that. And like I said, even when he was showing signs of trying to be serious, it was only after innuendos he realized that was played out everywhere. So I wasn't buying it at all. So yeah, um, agree with a lot of the stuff, the nuggets that Ron was dropping actually, because uh, when Patrice is in a situation where she's a guy who may be boring or whatever, guy who seems more fun, hair bonnet, dancing and jiggling around, laughing, joking, sexual innuendos at times, playful. I think it's a no-brainer. She's gonna want to choose that for the fun aspect rather
You
than
know
be
what?
more,
As
boring.
you're, you know what, Jay? I'm sorry. Excuse me for interrupting you. You know, as you're saying that, and I'm listening to you, I never really thought about it so much before in this respect. But what you just described, the guy wearing the bonnet, dancing around, jiggling around, non-serious, it really sounds like a trope for what some people might say is a black man, right? Very non-serious,
Mm.
wearing a hair bonnet, always dancing and just wants to have fun, and that's the extent of the conversation. And even when asked about planning whether to get a house or something, he was like, oh yeah, we could do that next week, right? Like very unserious, very very silly,
Right.
very silly minded. Yeah.
At the end of the day, Patrice wasn't looking for serious. She was. That's what she was saying on the show. She wasn't looking for necessarily the family thing. That's not what she was leading with. From what I see, she wanted to have fun times and create memories and all those type of things. That's what he was. That's what he showed signs of bringing to the table. If she was looking for someone more serious in terms of relationship and all the other things, then she wouldn't have looked in his direction at all. He would have been eliminated from contention.
Right. Yeah. Last but not least, oh, let's see. Oh, yeah, Darika, to her point, she had a point she wanted to say. I think perhaps a woman in her 40s who wants children moves fast. Otherwise, if she already has children and is content with those that she has, she's not rushing. I think that was just something that Ron said earlier. So I don't know.
There could be some truth to that.
Yeah, I guess so. If she wanted more children. I never really got
She's already got kids out the way. She's not in a rush to
right. I
have
was
any
gonna say
more.
I
She
never
already
really got
had
the
had them.
has 2 or 3 kids, so yeah, I never heard her say that she wanted more children. And like I said, that's the reason why the whole thing for me, it
Exactly.
didn't really make sense, her and him, because he doesn't have any, she's got 3, so where's that going? Where's that going?
Exactly.
One last one on this before we move on. Alonzo did say that he wanted kids with a woman who never. Oh, you know what? Was that him that said that early on? You're juggling my memory. Yeah, he said he wanted to give a woman something that she had never had, and that was kids. Alonzo Patrice reminds me of the Janelle. Yeah, exactly. Except minus the kids, because Janelle didn't have any kids at that point. Yeah, good point. Good point.
But if he
Um,
wanted to give a woman something that she never had, Patrice already got kids, so it wouldn't have been kids, would it? It would have been fun, which is what she said she didn't have, or what she wanted.
oh, so he was going help her with that, help her out with that, and then be cheating on the
With the fun.
backside. Okay, I
Yeah,
get
the
it. That's
entertainment.
that's a lot of fun. And then taking I'm gonna leave his STI test alone. What he Anyway, last but not least, we're going to go ahead and get this one out the way. Final scene, guys. What did I do? Final scene. Oh, there. Oh, I got it. I had it there. Okay.
This
What's really going on with Alexis and Laurent? We find out they're playing this game. Tommy starts playing this game of who said this, and then he shows people saying whatever in the confessional. But when he asks about the snake question, Alexis says that it was probably Laurent. They go back and forth. She says, "Well, you're the biggest snake here," and everything starts to devolve from there. You want to pick it up from there, JR?
Yeah. The game was messy, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing
William
people
told us
what they
that
said
last
in
night.
the confessionals about you to your
Mm-hmm.
face. So that was messy. And some people won't take kindly to what was being said. Thankfully, like we heard, William didn't take offense to looking like a mix between Jeffrey from, was it? Jeffrey the Giraffe and Forrest Gump. He didn't take that seriously. But,
Mm-mm.
there are some people that would take those insults quite seriously. And
Yeah.
but before we even got to the real conversation, it erupted because Alex, uh, in my opinion, rightly so, identified Laurent as being behind a lot of the drama that was caused with his messy WhatsApp dealings that he was doing in the different group chats that were set up between the castmates.
Right.
So I can understand why she was incensed, but she needed to control herself a lot better. She lost her temper very quickly, and definitely showed very little signs of being able to be calmed down. And in fact, people trying to calm her down incited her even more to go even more nuts, right? And she started threatening to hurt people, beat people up, put hands on people, whatever. Um, so yeah, it spiraled, and she became unhinged. And let's just say this is probably something that is part of her temper. When she loses it, she probably does flip out like that. And I only take that from when she was saying earlier on in the season that she doesn't start beef, but she's willing to settle it if it comes her way. So, and I'm not saying she would necessarily settle it with violence, but she seems ready for confrontation if it comes. Doesn't have the self-regulation to even realize that
Mm-mm.
she's on TV, she's in front of people, and she's wilding out the way she did. So, that wasn't cool to watch at all. Even deserves smoke because he was moving shady, somehow managed to snake his way through to last to the end. But rather than, I think she came in, settled that score. I don't think she was happy with the way she was eliminated. And I mean, to specifically target Laurent with that level of anger.
Yeah, I think you're right. She did come in like was said here in the chat. Alexis came to fight, right? That's what it looks like.
What? Yeah, I think. Well, Alexa knew that the reason why she got eliminated was Laurent. So you're
Okay.
already gonna have feel a certain way about him. And I asked the question when I was there with the cast and stuff. I was like, "How did Laurent make it to the end?" And they said he made it to the end because we were divided, and he was on the right side of the divide.
Okay.
So he did kind of snake his way to the end. Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of how it happened. That's his own castmate, castmates that said that. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, he played the game. He got her, he colluded to get her off. She knew it. And yes, so you're already geared up and you don't like him. And then some stuff was said, and Laurent ain't gonna bite his tongue for nobody. I think more stuff was said. But like I said, I was disappointed about production on how far they let this go.
Yeah, that
And
part.
honestly, and I'm gonna talk about something real, and then a lot of people gonna disagree and stuff like that. But everybody talks about colorism and stuff the other way and stuff. If she was darker skinned, they wouldn't have let it go this far.
Ooh,
Tommy would have been like, we ain't gonna have no dark black woman on here going off the handle like this. We got to stop it. The only reason it went that far was her could play. It's colorism on the other side. Sometimes it happens reverse. It's like we don't want to talk about reverse racism. Sometimes it's reverse colorism, and we don't want to talk about it because it seems like we're downing the other side of the equation. That happens a lot more, but sometimes it happens on the other side. And they let this go a lot further because she was like bright, and they knew they a bunch of women that watch the show ain't gonna get heated over the fact of her making a fool of herself to this magnitude. But if you had a strong black woman being extra strong, like they're going crazy in there, they would have got letters galore going if she was a little darker skin tone. So that's how that went. But they should have stopped it a long time ago. They should have hit it right at the point, and they know when to cut it off. They let that thing go way too long.
They did. I was like saying when we were talking to William, JR and I were interviewing William from the show last night, and I was saying what my thoughts were, and William was correcting me. And I understand his point. He's saying, well, Tommy's job is to just come in there and host. His job is not to be security guard, not to be a conflict resolution person. But I just don't understand, like, how are all these grown people walking around in the world, supposedly professionals, and they don't have any conflict resolution skills? They don't know when to keep their mouths quiet. They don't know when to just let it roll off their back and just say, forget about it. I'm not going to go back and forth with this person. Because Alexa, she was like, she was on 1,000. Forget 0 to 100. She was on 1,000. Like, but I will say, as a woman, I did not like about that setup. So when security finally stepped in, some of the guys that were there on the stage, that were her castmates, Alonzo for one, once again, boundary breaking Alonzo. He's grabbing her arm. He's yanking and pulling. Like, what in the heck? Get your hands off that lady. You don't know her like that.
Yeah, everybody want to be the savior in that situation. The guy, you the cool guy now that came in and calmed the whole situation. Now it was kind of like that guy who got in trouble in Atlanta season on season 2 when he was trying to calm the ladies down, and then the comedian said, "Stay out of women's business," and then he went off. Like everybody wants to play that hero role. Everybody's jumping in and things of that nature. But this woman right now is breaking down. It's the nervous breakdown is starting. And I'm not mad. Yeah. They don't have a lot of security on. Ain't no security on a set like that to stop anything. And Tommy ain't about to wrinkle a linen on his fitted suit to stop anything. Anybody
Tommy just got over cancer. Tommy ain't trying to have no.
No, it ain't gonna happen. So you gotta let it. You let it play out. You got a small little girl. There's only so much damage she gonna cause. But what you do is you do what you do best, and you edit scenes the way you want them to look. And you cut that short on the edit. You don't play that whole thing out with no edit. You would never do that for You would never do that for anybody else. You know what I mean? Like you didn't save so many people. So many of y'all so-called favorites have done some crazy stuff on here that they didn't save. They didn't show none of that stuff. And because, like I said, it was her. They already tried to make her a snitch. They already tried to make her this, and now they played out her whole nervous breakdown on the set, and it wasn't cool.
Babs, to your point, there's a whole thing going around. They gave her a good edit, Babs. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, okay? What we didn't see, and if you think about it, Koshia tried to warn us, and she said that this lady is always going off like this, talking about Alexis, right? But what production did, I believe, is they edited a lot of stuff out. And if you stop and think about it, like her whole attitude, like what did she say when Alexis got eliminated? Like, someone had it here, like that's the way the cookie crumbles, right? That's the way the cookie crumbles. She also said in the ladies' lounge that, men don't play her like that. They know who to play with, but she still got played by Jonathan. She got, basically touched and treated in such a way that was boundary breaking, and she couldn't do anything about it. She's little, he's bigger, so whatever. So I don't know. But I did not like. I'm gonna go back to. I really did not like all the guys, and security was all over her. And then like LaRon, why not just separate the two of them? They could have walked them both off. But I think at the point where they grabbed her, tell me if I'm mistaken, JR. At the point where they grabbed her, at that point she was shouting and screaming that she was going to beat everybody's ASS. Is that what you saw? Or
Yeah,
is it something?
like she was finger pointing Mika. When Justin was sitting next to her, she turned and was drawing back and forth with Justin as well. You know, and she probably named maybe 2 or 3 people that she wanted to beat up. I'll beat you up. I'm gonna get you. She sounded like Scrappy Doo from you know.
Scrappy.
Why are you order? Like, you wanna scrap now? You're being held back. But no, like I feel people might want to say Tommy should have stepped in and done something, and security should have stepped in and done something. The guys should have stepped in or shouldn't have stepped in. No, the only person that should have controlled themselves is her. That's who needed to control himself.
And I disagree. I feel everybody should have stepped in, because her biggest problem is she had no allies and they knew it. Only ally she had was Will. And whether it wasn't a good one. So not the guys or the girls. She's by herself. She was on an island. You didn't put her on an island. LaRon said a lot more than what was put out there. Trust me. That conversation was a lot longer, and that one he was spitting off the roof. You thought what Will was saying was spitting. LaRon was letting her have it. And yeah, he was going at it.
Something was missing. I knew we were missing a.
No. He's boom, 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 boom. He's under the belt. So you got all this building up. Nobody's stopping LaRon, because they didn't have to stop LaRon, because the girl that LaRon was fired at had no allies.
Wow.
Allies means everything in a reunion. Also, allies means everything, because you would never be LaRon on our season and shoot out at Benicia like that, because you're gonna have 5 other girls and 3 other guys on your throat.
Heck no, not Benicia.
Yeah, but
nope.
We're not. Benicia didn't have to say anything. She got allies, so it's gonna be other people coming at you.
I'm agreeing with you, Ron. I'm absolutely agreeing.
Yeah,
she had no allies, so therefore she had to take LaRon's stuff, and nobody stepped up there and took after her.
No, exactly.
Well, what about Will?
Not even any of the other women. That's the point. The other women sat back and watched this happen because they didn't care for her, because she alienated them, because they felt like she was the mole. She was the snake that was going sharing information.
I get it, but she's still a woman, though.
So they kind of...
You can't have it both ways.
Yeah, but they don't care.
You either protect the women or you
held their feelings. No, they held their feelings, and they said, no, you're not one of us. Like, whatever happens to you, and you deal with it yourself. What they kind of said in that moment.
Because men only try women.
And she was even going at... She was even going at Mika. So Mika's another woman on the show, and Mika has more of an alliance with the remaining cast and around each other longer. So there's more probably sisterhood.
And I agree, but put yourself in her view. Like you're on an island now, then. So why would you expect her to act any different on an island? You're back against the wall now. And she had a nervous breakdown about it. Like, it ain't necessarily her fault. You got
I'm not saying
all those cast members.
Listen, she instigated it when she turned around and out, like, it wasn't interrupted what was happening by saying, "Well, I think LaRon is the." That's when
in her eyes he was, because he got her eliminated.
He was, yeah, of course he was. He was the whole reason why she got eliminated. But William got eliminated because of LaRon as well. He chose not to go back and forth with LaRon about it. Cool. We don't like each other. I'm gonna move.
He couldn't go against LaRon about it because, like I told you before, that's male to male. Male to males don't happen on Ready to Love, because it's gonna turn into a fight.
Yeah, I get that.
Women's different. Women to males different.
Female to male. She shouldn't have lost her cool like that. She could have told him how she, but without getting so amped up about it. And then when they started exchanging the back and forths and the disrespect, then obviously that's when people stepped in. But she had to then calm herself. It shouldn't take 10, 12 people on the stage to try and get you off somewhere. And then even when you're backstage and your closest ally, which is Will, like he's trying to calm her down. She's going off at him as well.
Yeah, at that point,
when she's even leaving the building, she's still going off. So she needed to control herself. She needed to count to 10, 100, whatever she needed to do. But she's on TV. She's in a public setting.
Yeah, she lost it.
She needed that self-regulation. If she doesn't have that self-control, then that's what is the problem. Because that means she's able to lash out.
LaRon was going hard, though. Remember when Alonzo jumped in and said, LaRon, stop, like, it seemed like it came out of nowhere. Right. That was just a timing edit. He said that towards the end after LaRon had already spent 7 minutes of ether at this poor girl.
Oh, no, you kidding me. Will sat there, see now, you know what?
That's how it happens. That's how the editing happens. So that he didn't get pop out of nowhere. That ain't how it happened. He said he had to basically got so bad that Zoe had to say, damn, LaRon, stop it, calm down. Right. He was the only one. He probably was the first one to really stick up. And then he went over there to try to play hero to console her because he already knew how it felt because he'd been getting all the heat the whole episode. And then by that time, like I said, she was already like, y'all to let me take, y'all to let this guy go at me.
Wait a minute, hold on, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, he deserved it though. LaRon deserved heat. I'm not. I do agree that she had a right to feel aggrieved at the right to call him out for what he did because it was the biggest snake. He manipulated his way through eliminating people who he supposedly was. He played a very pivotal part in getting William and other people, right? So he is a big snake. She had a right to feel upset about the way she got played in that instance. But like I said, she could have done it in a more controlled fashion. Even if she flinging insults a little bit like Mika was doing earlier on with Will, like that would have been acceptable to a degree because you're not threatening violence and you're not losing your stuff on stage. But she far beyond the point where anyone could get through to her. She wasn't willing to. She wasn't able to calm herself down either. That's what I'm saying. No. It's not like anybody.
And I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I don't blame her because
you might not blame her, but she still needed to take onus of herself.
I've been in that situation, and when you're looking around at your castmates and somebody to jump in and nobody does, and the person's going off and everybody's letting it happen.
No, Justin was sitting and listen, but you need to calm down a little bit. You need to stop talking.
He did. He tried.
Justin was saying that, and he's not even someone that she had a connection with. He was sitting right next to her, and she went off on him too.
She went
off on him too, but I'm looking at this from an edited standpoint, so I'm looking at the timing, and I believe remember when Lonzo said it, and she goes, "How's this my fault?" and he says, "It's not your fault." That means to me that means you've been getting ganged up on. Everybody's blaming you, and you ain't. You know what I mean? You ain't do nothing. You know what I mean? Like that's gang mentality. And they ganged up on her. She had no allies. And she felt like her back was against the wall. And any person's back's against the wall, what do? They fight. Anybody. And that's the situation she was put in. And that's what she did. Right. And if you were not going to stop LaRon, and they saved her. Like I said, LaRon spit. They didn't sell all the stuff LaRon said because a lot of that stuff was inappropriate. It had nothing to do with dating. And this is a dating show. And don't put nobody's personal business out where their mama and daddy and family is watching the show and you're throwing stuff out at people that could be true or not true or whatever it is. So they cut that stuff out. But the fact of the matter is, they edited better after that too. Y'all know what happened. So don't have her.
I know some things we can't say that we already know, but
but then you can't let it go that far. Now you're affecting. This show should never affect your outside business or life because it's a dating show. Mm-hmm. Anything that happens within dating is forgivable and okay because everybody has that in common. We all date and we all get it wrong. I don't care. Lorenzo sleeping with 17 women. We've all been through all that. None of that could affect his regular life as a man, his job, his ability, none of that. because it's dating and we all do it. But a rant like that
100%.
can actually affect some of your other stuff. And especially when nobody got no real context to what was going on. And the show is supposed to protect us from that. Anything's fair games when it comes to the dating aspect of it. Because you can get over that because everybody dates and relate to it. It's a dating show. You're watching reality TV. Gaga, we get it. But to show your personality in this type of way, that's different. And it's never really been done like that before. And it's not supposed to. Especially when the topic wasn't really dating. Them two didn't date with each other. It'd be different with Alexis screaming at me. We dated. You know what I mean? We've had intimate situations. We understand the emotion. These guys even date. It should have never got to this point on screen for where we saw it like that. That's bad production.
Right.
Wow.
Like I said, like I don't think Alexis started it. What I'm saying is LaRon started it, and she rightfully had a beef to settle with him about how he went about the process, because it included her being collateral damage in his quest to get Maya. So I can understand why she has a problem. My only problem is she could have done it in a manner which was more controlled, because there's no way that should be justified, that she can go off like and threaten putting hands on people and all those type of things. She went too far with that. Like, even if it was a heated conversation between the two of them, that's cool. That's not nature. Sometimes you just don't like people and you fly off at the mouth. You can't, like, her connection tried to calm her, want to listen, right? Justin was the peacemaker sitting right next to her trying to calm her down. So she did have people trying to look out for her best interest at that time and say, you know what, calm down.
Not really, because that wasn't no real.
Escalate.
That wasn't no real. Justin don't have no reliance to her. He don't like her. His woman don't like her.
But it's not their job.
And
it's not their job.
Will's their only alliance. Anybody else coming at her is not genuine. They all did talk shit about that woman. So she knows not to. Don't touch me now. Yeah. You when you trying to make a little play on the TV, making yourself look like the hero or something like that. And Justin over there being sarcastic because he don't like her because he can't, because his woman don't like her. So that's the point. My point is, you never should have thought most of that, because it's production's job.
That's because of
to cut that scene.
Yeah, we never should have saw that's because of what her behavior in the ladies' lounge. The women basically
they were getting her back. They were getting her back, but they went too far. Production was getting her back for talking out the lounge. I get it, but they went too far. You got to cut that at a certain point. You cut a line. You didn't cut everybody's stuff at a certain point. You cut Tequila stuff at a certain point. You cut Zoe. You cut a lot of people's stuff at a certain point, and you didn't do it with this one. And you did it because you could get away with it because you're a little light-skinned girl. And you were mad because of her talking in the ladies' lounge and all this. And, yeah, you let it go too far.
I think so. I definitely think so, because at the point where they're going back and forth, both of them should have been asked to leave the stage. And if they couldn't leave on their own, escorted out. As simple as that. Because by the time it escalated to where she's kicking everybody's arse, like you get one, you get one, you get one, you're gonna get an ass kicking, you go like no. First of all, you're not beating up none of these men on this stage. I don't care, even the littlest one. You can't handle it, sis. Just because you play ball, you better bring that testosterone level down. What is it Dave said? Can we bring the testosterone down in the room? She needed to do that. She really needed to do that, but it's hard to feel sorry for her as a woman because of all the things that she said during the season and the way she carried herself. She definitely identifies with men. That's her thing. Okay, fine. Have at it. So if you identify with men, those are the people that should be your allies. But none of them were.
None of them. But the thing is, like I said, I'm not telling them production shouldn't have. Let it play out the way it played out. But y'all do what y'all do best. You edit all the time. All y'all do is edit. Now all of a sudden you can't find the edit button? Y'all the best editors in the world. All y'all do is edit scenes all day long.
They wanted us to see that. And here's the other thing. They picked her out specifically for this reason. Don't you think with all those psychological tests you guys take, don't you think for a half a second they don't pick people out for specific reasons and purposes, okay? They knew she was a hothead.
They knew that, but it was said production is petty. This is revenge. It was a revenge tactic. All this stuff is so calculated. It's ridiculous. They don't do nothing without a petty reason towards it or something else like that. It's all. There's no excuse where you will let her scene play all the way out and you did nobody else like that. That's revenge.
Yeah, but hold
There's
on.
no difference where you try to double team up on me. You know what I mean? I knew production was going out revenge on me. They told me. You know what I mean? It's certain stuff that's targeting. And it's the most mental exhausting thing that you can go through because, like I said, it puts you in a situation now where you can't do anything about it because they're targeting you. They're putting you. She's in a situation where obviously production does not like her because they let this thing play out. So you got production against you. You got 19 out of 20 castmates against you, and and they're controlling the edits. And you're done. And she's in a vulnerable position. And she's a woman.
Yeah.
And she's a small girl, and she's not 100% mentally tough. And that's how it plays out.
But Ron, you're also forgetting in the ladies' lounge, Koshia, her outburst, she threatened to put hands on Alexis as well. Said, don't make me get up and I'm going to slap this girl, this face or something like that, right? When Koshia
that's fine. That's cool.
Off on her. Like no one,
the little fight thing between a woman, we've seen that scene before. What we ain't seen was the super runoff rant, the fingering out the camera, the scene like he threw violence to the camera. It went all that extra stuff at the end is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about even her telling that girl that she had beat her at. You know what I mean? That's women talk. We've seen that before. We're used to that. You can come back from that. That ain't nothing. You can come back from yelling at the guys and stuff like that. You could get up. You could come back from walking off the thing. That extra stuff made her look derangedly crazy.
Yeah,
that's harder to come back from when you look like you have mental problems.
I think she actually smacked the camera.
You told her to do
that. Yeah. When you start doing that, now you look like you have a mental problem, and then you just cut it like that with no you know what I mean? Hopefully they save it. They bring her back and they make it better the next seat. I mean the next reunion part. Right. But if they niggas don't say nothing or niggas got her gone, that's not fair. You know what I mean? Because you just took it too far. Problem. Yeah, like I said, if you go say, hey, if a woman's, like I said, woman to woman or man to man, it's fine. If LeBron said something to somebody he didn't like and that dude said, I'll beat your butt, LeBron, this and that, that's fine. That's man to man. That you can get over that. Woman to woman saying it, I'll beat you up, girl, this and that, that's fine. It ain't classy, but you can get over that. It's been done in seasons, it's going to keep on being done. But a mental breakdown, now you got to explain it because there ain't no context to the mental breakdown. Now people are actually thinking this woman is crazy.
It's not a breakdown. She knew what she was doing. She knew what she was angry. It's a self-regulation problem. It's an anger management problem.
That's a mental breakdown. The way that girl was going off, she's done.
That's
she is not in control no more.
Wait, one at a time.
No. She wasn't spazzing out where people need to call authorities or anything like that. No, it was an anger management problem.
She was. If she was 6'6" and 290 pounds, there would have been authorities called.
Yeah, Ryan is right.
But she isn't. She's 5'2". She's 5'2".
Yeah, that's the only reason. I mean, she's scratching out on that same thing. She's having a mental breakdown. I understand that every emotion she's feeling. I've been on that stage. Different. She's having a breakdown because she felt backed up against a wall and nobody helped her. Not production, because they don't like her, and nobody else on that stage because they don't like her. And now you're backed up against a wall on that magnitude and you lose it. That's how it works.
Yeah, I don't think she can.
And the only safety net that she has at that point is production showing some mercy, which they did not show to a female. It'd be different if it was my ass. To a female? Come on. And you only did it because she's light-skinned, because you wouldn't have done it to a dark-skinned female because you would have got a 280 letters written on you. Day one.
Yeah, but
don't be showing us in that type of light.
What could production have done other than edit the scene out so we didn't see it? The behavior still would have happened.
That's all they were supposed to do, because that's what they do. JR, that's what they do. That's their job. That's what they do the best. They edit, they cut the scene. They done it to everybody. Everybody who's
Yeah,
gotten
of
him
course.
saved. All
You know
your
the worst part?
favorites,
They
you got
probably
saved.
still cut the
Everybody is
feed.
all about the same. Everybody ain't too much marbles different from Alexis anybody else. They save people. So why not save her a little bit at the end? You know, you can let it go on for your little rating, stuff like that. They went too far. Cut the scene like you did everybody else.
You know what? They still did it because we didn't see LeBron's remarks that apparently set her. They decided to keep it. So I agree there probably was some messiness there, but I don't think that they should have covered her to the point where it exonerated her from being able to manage her own anger and her own
I'm not saying
self-control.
exonerated. You got it. All the stuff
Self-mastery.
that happened on stage, fine. That was cool. She walks off on stage. You give her a little walk off. To keep going till she's down there 3 feet out the door, that's not right. That ain't how we do things on this show. That ain't how we ever done it. She pissed somebody off in production and they got petty payback. And it's not right because now you're going outside of what the show is for, and that's dating. That had nothing to do with dating at all. And now she might have some actual financial drawback from that. And you guys are not supposed to take a dime out of anybody's pocket.
Ooh, that's a good point. And somebody was saying, because she's a referee. Now, I don't know if she's a referee for adult athletes, high school athletes. I don't know. College athletes, that could make a difference. But I know for a lot of teacher certification and people that work around young children, they cannot have a record of any type of assault or abuse like that, or even being seen in that light could affect her income. You're right about that, Ryan.
Yeah, that's a no-no. You know how many times they protected people? They know that better. One thing they won't do, and I was just praising Ready to Love for this coming last episode, is they don't mess with your money. I don't care what light they put you in and stuff like that. They do it in a way where they be like, okay, they do it a lot of times. Like I could almost predict it. If I see like somebody like Advocate Sue, oh,
Yeah.
she gonna get good edits because you're not gonna mess up her money by making her look
Oh,
like something
God.
because she's on a separate thing. I could predict it in my head right away. They know better.
They know better.
You gonna give Amber certain edits as a attorney DA. You know what I mean? You're gonna do that because you ain't about to mess with their money on that type of level because they're gonna sue your ass if you do. And this is a voluntary work. This show is. So yeah, so you ain't supposed to mess with nobody's money. And they know better than anybody else, and they're good at admittedly, giving you a little shade when they can and stuff like that, but doing it in a way where it doesn't affect your money. And if it's tied to dating, it would never affect your money. But the whole scene had nothing to do about dating.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
That's where I disagree, because this is the thing. You keep bringing it to her career and public perception and TV and how it looks. I'm keeping it on in a relationship. If she's that angry and volatile and she has no anger management or self-regulation, then that's going to lead to a hostile situation or worse, right? If she gets into an argument with her boyfriend, whoever it and she has that level of anger and volatility, then something bad's gonna go down, right? So that's why I'm keeping it.
I understand that. But I'm talking about who she dated on the show. It'd be different if LeBron and her had a relationship on the show and they dated on the show. Totally different situation. If I dated a woman and we didn't work, she's supposed to be mad at me. I'm supposed to be mad at her. We have a different emotional connection than anybody else. We have kissed. Our lips have touched each other. We've done this. I'm not mad at Alexis or a Chrysanthemum or Amber on my season for going off on me and showing some emotion and stuff like that. I've been, I've been around you guys in a more intimate way than any of these other guys have had. We're not supposed to get along 100% now because it's technically a breakup. But that's relationship. People can relate to that. They understand. They're gonna give me a pass. Oh, I've been in a bad relationship. I don't want to be around that person anymore either. This or that. Or they're gonna talk bad to me because I was in a relationship, and it's relationship stuff. They were not in a relationship with each other ever. And they turned it into this. No. It ain't supposed to happen that way on a reality dating show.
Right. Well, now we don't get to see how her potential relationship with her and her connections would have formed because, like her stage got turned into this hostile environment. And again, like I said, I bring it relationship as a guy. I'm not looking to date someone with that type of anger issue, and someone who can't calm themselves down, and someone who gets worked up and irate to the point where they want to talk about how they're going to put hands on, or point fingers in my face, or anything like that. So that's a turn off for me. And I wouldn't condone or cover any girl that does that, because you shouldn't be talking to me like that in the first place. Like, you need to control, be able to articulate yourself in a way where I know it's different for men and women, but still you have to have a level of self-awareness where you know that you're in a public setting and you can't go off like every Monday to Friday when she wakes up, what she work. So if you, that's even more
It sounds
why
nice,
she
but
should
she
be
was
able to
backed against a wall. They backed her against the wall. And I'm from Detroit, Michigan. If you back somebody up against the wall down here and the rules and regulations, they blast at you for that. So I can't put her in higher standards than everybody else when they backed her completely against a wall. When you got that many people on the other side and you're trying to get your point across against this guy, and the production ain't got nobody has your back, you're backed against the wall. I know what it feels like. I know how it's played out on that stage. Her back's against the wall, and a lot of times when backs against the wall in the community and stuff like that, murder happens next, or defense of that purposes. So I can't put her and say, "Oh, you were supposed to adjust and do this." That ain't how it works. Hindsight is 20/20. In that situation she was in, the best of the, you know who, only person that could have really turned that around and kept the composure? Blake, William, military training.
And William.
Everybody else wouldn't stand a chance.
Exactly.
Them too. That's why they just calmed the William said, "Oh yeah, well, you call me bozo, fine, you know, cool." That's military training. That's military training. We ain't all military trained.
Like, why does it matter what some bozo that you're not going to see after this whole thing is over? You ain't going to never see them again. And if you do, you can always cross the other side of the street. Why does it even matter what they think about you? Who gives a rats?
It don't, but I'm just saying,
Exactly.
it ain't about what he said or anything like that. It's the back, she was backed up against the wall. And it's coming at her so fast, she can't manage it. The training that Blake and William had, that military training, allows you to process that stuff where it's coming at you 1,000,000 miles per hour a lot slower. So then you can make the adjustments on your emotions and things of that nature. That's what the training does. When the catcher that was coming after Blake, when he was getting drilled by that that whatever girl in that room,
Morgan.
Yeah, those questions. That setup would have been coming at me 1,000,000 miles per hour. It was coming at Blake in slow motion because he's trained.
Right.
So he was handling that so smooth because it was coming at him like different. Because it's like a boxer. I box. If a jab that's coming at me comes out a lot slower than it comes at you because I'm trained to see what it is. So the shots are coming at me in slow motion. So I'm looking like I'm a good fighter. I'm handling it differently than if you were in a fight because it's a trained eye. So that's all it is. It's just it's coming at her so fast she don't know what to do.
She doesn't know it. But here's my problem with that. Okay, and I know from being in a military family, Navy, Army, all of that. Okay, here's what I don't understand though. Also being a mom of a former athlete, I don't get that Alexis plays ball. She's male identified. I don't get that she can't handle herself better than what she did on that stage. I don't get that, because if you train to be an athlete, and I think she played ball in college and in high school, that's a level of training. No, it's not to the level of the military. Definitely not, especially not if you weren't pro. But the level of training that she has received, she should be able, because she's been out there on the court and there have been people calling her.
It's not the same. Not the same.
Throwing her around. I know, I get it. That's what I'm saying.
It's a mental game. Ready loves a mental game.
But so is sports.
Not really. It's more reaction. On her level.
Come on.
I play sports too. It's more reaction. Ain't that?
She's a trained referee though. She's trained to break up fights. Like
here's the difference.
So there is,
resolution.
Exactly.
Sports is checkers. Sports is checkers. What she's playing with Ready Love right now, what that was going on was chess, and she wasn't prepared to play chess. Now checkers is still a mind game, like you said, Aubrey, and it's still a reaction mind game and stuff like that. But that's what sports is. She had to play chess, and military teaches you how to play chess because it's warfare.
Yeah, exactly. True. True.
So that's what she didn't have. She didn't have that level of mental. She's playing a mental game right now. She's not playing a checkers game. This is all chess. And the only
Okay.
thing that would have got her calmed down and got her out of the situation, she had to start playing chess real quick, and she doesn't know how to play.
Hmm. Wow. I'm gobsmacked. I
Nah,
don't
she
know what
knows how to
else to
play
say.
basketball, bro.
Say again, Jr.
She knows
And
how to play
Ron.
basketball, which is another
Go ahead.
like even in basketball, she's familiar with. There's an element of self-control. You don't just wild out and lash out because you get fouled or someone trash talks you or says something.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
You can't.
free throw line or whatever, people trying to put her off her game. Like, she doesn't turn around and say, listen, if you don't turn around, I'm gonna beat you up and all this other stuff. No, you keep on playing the game. You just have to get through it.
It's not an
But
emotional
you
control
can't be
game. Like I said, I was on that stage. I played
where
ball.
you
Played ball
feel
at the
like
highest level. It's not basketball game she's playing right now. She's playing chess. And chess is a lot different than basketball. You put LeBron James on the
you're
chessboard,
not playing
and
chess.
he's not going to know what the heck to do.
Yeah, she needs to quit that. She needs to go
You're a
into a
mess.
different sport then, because chess, mental
No, that
games
ain't
is
what she
not
does.
her thing.
And them women were prepared to play chess. A lot of them women come rehearsed. These women come, they know what the deal is. They didn't watch every season. These people that took notes, they didn't came rehearsed. They didn't made their allies. They're ready. She wasn't. And she had no allies. She didn't know that. And production knows you have no allies. They'll tell people, like I said, they were that when I went to the reunion, the first thing they did was they made up 4 lies on whatever ally I might have. They told Ida I was the one that kicked her out of my party right before the sing. Why? Because they didn't want me to have any allies. They made Treston show up magically. Why? One of my allies. They're spending the whole time taking away your allies because they want to back you against the wall. Because once you're backed against that wall, you're going to fight. Welcome to Ready to Love Politics.
As someone so aptly called it, ready to loathe. I think I'm changing the name of my thumbnail. Ready to loathe.
Yeah, I had that
I
as my name
don't
last
know.
night too. Yeah.
I don't.
It's
Yeah.
a tactic they've been using on every up. They use it all the time. They've been using it for years. We're gonna take away all the person's allies, whatever ally they got. Like I said, they went in there and they purposely they went to Kyra. I said this about you the other day, lied, but they wanted to make sure that okay, when she's about to jump in to take my back on the truth, he was just talking shit about me. I'm gonna keep quiet. Take away her allies. And then when you back against the wall, the person has nothing. And
Wow.
when you put a person naked, what's next?
Okay.
Afraid. It's a show called Naked and Afraid. That's what it means.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
She's
Wow.
afraid. She's the
Quick
little
question,
girl. She's
Ron.
backed up against the wall. She lost it.
Okay, Ron. Right.
Quick
He's got a
question,
question for you.
Ron. Do you think that they can? Do you think that they can even blame like the alcohol consumption on the show and things like that for the behavior as well?
No, because we weren't really drinking like that at the reunion. So it ain't like
William said last night that they had very little food and there was plenty of drink and they were drinking for hours.
Okay. One thing, there is
It
food.
was
No
there.
food. We got one meal that day, and it probably came around 8:00 p.m. You're definitely hungry. Give you that.
Yeah.
There's no food. There's no food.
Okay.
They
Okay.
didn't have a lot of alcohol around when we were there. They might have changed that aspect of it, but most people, not to get drunk before you walk on there and stuff. You don't even look drunk on there because
But
you
see,
care about. You just put on that $1,000 outfit. You care about how you look at least. You care about how you look more than you care about how you sound. That's why
okay.
she kept on saying, "I spent the rack. I spent the rack," because she cares about that damn outfit. Because that's where you spend
Yeah.
your own. You spent your own money on that. Production spent the money on everything else. You spent your own
Inflation.
money on that outfit, so she cared about how she looked
Yeah.
aesthetically.
Inflation.
You're not gonna go in there
Inflation.
glossy eyed and everything else like that, being drinking that much. So I don't think that alcohol
Ron.
was a problem.
Ron. Inflation must be a mother. Cause I'm sorry. A ban for that? No. No, she did not. No, she did. There wasn't a person on stage except perhaps Koshia, Leeling. You guys, ladies in the chat, help me out with best dressed on the reunion and
I
who
thought the
is
girl on the green with the new girl, with
the new girl. Which one?
the one that got cut early. I mean, they left early.
Leeling had on purple. She had on
Yeah,
purple. That dress,
With the green, purple, whatever it was kind of exotic, like looking.
That dress, Koshia had some real clothes on, some real threads, but nah. No, there's no way. There's no way Alexis is gonna tell us she spent a band on that, or $1,000 on that. No way. I'm sorry.
You was worried about it. You were in a.
And here's the
In a
thing.
flight and fight situation, and you brought up the price of your dress. That's the only thing you can think of.
Well, or she wanted people to think that. But here's the thing, too, though. She's small. Here's the thing. She's small. She's tiny. And because she's tiny, like size 0, size 1, size 2, think about with us tiny women, when I was really tiny, you can find clothes. You can find, especially after 5, formal stuff, you can find it for pennies on the dollar. You know why? Because ain't too many women wearing a size 4, a size 6, a size 2, a size 0. That girl is so tiny. She could have went to any boutique and found a dress for $50, $100, $150. There's no way she spent $1,000 on that. What? It didn't even have beads on it, crystals, none of that. No. No.
Yeah, she should have spent a little more of the time on working on her chess game, because she should have known that. I would have told her. Should have called me like, yo, Will's your only ally. So you even got to stick tight with him, or you got to be quiet. Yeah, you got to be quiet, because they're gonna gang you. That's how it works. So they're gonna take away your allies, and the person who has the less allies is the person they're gonna go after, because, like I said, you can't go after a person who got allies, because everybody else gonna jump in.
Right. And she kind of brought it down on herself, because if you notice, not just in that scene, but all the way through the whole reunion, she was always adding her input, adding her thoughts, doing commentary. Like, I'm like, okay, Tommy's got the floor. You don't have to do all of that.
And I agree. They were going to get her. Okay. They were going to get her. Production was going to get her. They were going to get her. And they got her. But they showed no mercy. And that's the part I'm talking about. We're all castmates. We're all human. We all volunteer for this stuff. Why in the world, production, did you not show mercy and cut it where it was supposed to be cut at? And that's the only problem I have with it. Not that it played out. Not that they didn't send bodyguards to break it. All that's fine. Let it play out the way it played out. But somebody should have told her, girl, they ain't about to show all that anyway. You cool. They're going to show up to a certain amount and you fine, because we ain't going to do you like that. And they did the total opposite.
Somebody said in the chat, oh, that's Kiki. Thanks, Kiki. Kiki said, first thing these people do when they get to the set is they make themselves a drink. That sounds about right for a lot of people. That's why
1 or 2 and stuff like that. But I'm saying the fact that we stumbling on stage, that ain't how it works. Matter of fact, it's so early. It's so early in the morning. By the time they're the first group going on. So they're on stage. We get there at 8. You on stage around 12. Was you drinking for breakfast that much? You know?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because we were told last night they got there at 8 in the morning. So I don't know who's having a drink.
Yeah, nobody's having a drink. So we walk in and things of that nature. So it wasn't the alcohol. I'm telling you, y'all, it's never been that position. You get backed up against a wall with no allies, you're going to fight. And that's what happened. And it would have happened to anybody. It would have happened to you, JR. I don't care how cool and calm. Or else you're military trained, where you get able to keep composure no matter what, any hostile environment and stuff like that. 9 out of 10 people were going to go off. If you put LaRon in that situation where he's backed up against the wall and everybody was putting him in there, it would have been fireworks.
Yeah, he went off. Yeah, he did. Like, when LaRon was under pressure for being a snake, he did go off.
Yeah, but, and the only difference between men and women is men.
Hold on. Let JR finish his point.
I was going to say, do you think that she, like when she going to the reunion, she already knew that she had no allies prior to?
She did. What she did was she underestimated the reunion. You don't know what she was going to face. She was thinking like, I'm just going to tell the truth and lay on solid ground when everybody else had a game plan. She didn't have no game plan. That's why she was playing checkers, not chess. Everybody else had a game plan. She didn't have none. Even with Alonzo, when he was talking about, he got set up in that. When they made him go first and talk about, oh, it ain't no girl, that's my friend. They already knew the answer to that question. And then she hit him with the answer. He got set up. It was setups going on all the time. Everybody's had a game plan. She had none. And she walked into it, and they were going to get her, and they got her. But like I said, they took it too far. She's a woman. She's emotional. Like, even as men, we know when to cut it off, because we know it's a woman's show. We know as men, we're going to be so aggressive. As a woman, she doesn't have a cutoff switch. So hers is going to keep going and going like that because she's a woman. And they didn't cut it, is all I'm saying. You cut it for guys before. You ain't cut it for the woman.
Cut it for Koshi either.
They did cut it. It cut it at one point. We didn't see what happened backstage that they could see it went off and stuff like that. She could have kept going. That probably went out, kept going for another hour. They cut it. They cut it right there on that. As soon as she said that one girl, I'll beat you up, this and that, and they kind of moved her off, cut it. That's fine right there. She can get past that part. Her rolling in the hallway, flicking people off, being spitting the camera, pushing all that stuff. Telling Will to F off, you know what I mean? No, can't go that far.
Yeah, she
and they know better. And production knows better. And they were trying to get her back, and they were being petty, and they overdid it.
Ooh.
And she couldn't do anything about it. Like I said, when you're back against the walls, like I said, Stacey B, my sister, said the same thing. She's like, Ryan, don't look at us. You was looking at us to save you. You got to save yourself for some situations. And that means she would have to calm down and take the L and stuff like that, but she's not trained enough to do that. It's her first time on TV, first time in a reunion setting, first time for everything. Yeah. The professionals are supposed to save you, and the professionals is production.
Man, the way those security guards were hanging back, and the castmates were the one playing security guards, because the security guards were just standing there like with their arms crossed, like, hey, you know.
They can't really touch nobody. Like, you don't get it. You're really a volunteer person to come. You can leave whenever you want to, or you can do whatever you want to. They don't control on TV. They don't control shit. You are your own person. Security guard put his hands on you wrong way, you are suing.
Right. I thought about that, but to your point, Ryan, if I was her and I felt that up against my back up against the wall type of situation like you just described, which is probably what she felt, I can see that. I would have just walked off.
That's what you're supposed to do. That's the D part of the multiple choice course. I should have walked off. A lot of us should have just walk off. You can walk off. It's okay. You won't get penalized. Take your butt home. They're gonna talk mess about you when you're not there, but at least you can always say, yo, I wasn't even there to defend myself.
Right.
But
they can talk it, because I'm not gonna sit up and get in a fight on national TV. That's what
you're supposed to walk off and she was confused, and she was trying to, it seemed like at one point. But yeah, you just walk off and go home. Like, I'm not about to deal with this and just take it, because you're in a lose-lose situation because you don't got no allies. Nobody's gonna back your story. So, and if nobody backs your story, it's gonna look unbelievable. And production ain't on your side, they don't like you, and they being petty, you're not gonna win. They control every aspect of that. So take your non-winning self out and go home and go enjoy you a margarita at the bar and stuff, and you don't gotta be there the rest of the 10 hours and stuff. And that's the only option she had. She never should have came in the first place, really, but she came, walk off.
Remember Zoe? Remember Zoe from the Miami season? He left out. He he went back and forth with Charisse first, and then he got into it with Swayze, right?
Yeah, he was in a lose-lose situation, and Zoe's my man. And he was in a lose-lose situation, and when he left, when they tried to make it seem, they made it seem like Zoe, the professional football player at 208 pounds, is afraid of anybody on that stage. Oh, you left out because you was wimpy. Please.
Yeah, but he made the smart decision not to show up to the reunion.
No, he came. He went to the reunion. He left.
That's the difference.
They're going to talk about you when you leave off the stage, but the fact of the matter is, it would have been a lot worse for him if he wasn't been up there with no allies and having the ladies gang up on him and the men gang up on him at the same time and things of that nature. He said, man, I ain't about to deal with this. They left.
Yeah, he got out.
You don't want to leave. You don't want to leave. That be your experience on the show. You don't want to leave off like that. Like you said, she didn't put a lot of work. Let's say she spent $1,000 on outfit. She spent $1,000 on her hair, makeup, and outfit out of her own money. That investment, I don't want to leave like that. And that might have been struggle money for her. You know what I mean? I didn't put myself in debt trying to look good on this show and stuff. And this is my outcome.
Yeah, right. That
right.
probably.
So how do you think she corrects it? Like, do you think she comes in part 2 with a different attitude, and how do you think she fixes her image based on what happened?
Hopefully she goes home. I'm not going back on that stage and have people looking at me like I'm, you know what I mean? They're not gonna give her no more speaking parts, so she's gonna go back on the stage and be looking dumb the whole time. Like, you still stayed after all that? Like, go home. They did you dirty. Go home.
That's what I'm saying. She did it herself. It can't be fixed.
It can't.
With
Nah.
apologies, it ain't gonna. It's not gonna do anything. And like I said, it's a self-regulation and anger management issue.
8
That's all I
hours.
can
It's
see on the show.
still 12
I
more
don't know
hours to go.
Yeah, there is. But whether she's on
Yeah,
those 12 hours is a different thing.
Yeah, no. They're gonna be flashing her face to make her look crazier, and she ain't gonna give her no speaking parts to explain herself. And that's how they're gonna do her. Because if they were real save her, they would have already done it. They can't really correct this. They wouldn't even went this far.
Nah.
Only way they correct this is with an apology. Your production have to get on stage and say, "Yo, man, we let that go too far."
Yeah, and I don't see them doing that.
They're not gonna do that. So hopefully she gets left. And
Jrxtv brings up that she remembers the season when Zadia was on with RTL, DC, Potomac. I forget which one she was, but that area. Zadia had a grin on her face the whole reunion. She was like, "They ain't gonna get me this time." That's right, Jrxtv. She sure did. I remember that. Like, she done mushed old poor Dante in the nose. She done did all kind of chaos and savagery and damage and carnage. And she's like, y'all ain't gonna get me on, and I look too good. I'm dressed too nice. My makeup is perfect. Nah, y'all ain't gonna catch me this time slipping up. Right, exactly.
And even on Ready to Move, she wasn't even on Ready to Move. She's like when Charisse and her were in, it was Charisse doing the majority of the aggressive speech or threats or whatever, whereas Zadia was more composed and smiling about it, laughing in her face, and that was her way of managing it. But that's the difference. One had more self-control than the other. And that's my point. Alexis didn't show any signs of wanting to control herself. She wanted to just settle the score and while out at the same time. You can't do that. And like I said, it doesn't bode well for a relationship when.
Yeah, she did her own damage. It wasn't even like, because like I said, my situation, production was, they already told me, we coming after you. You do that party, we coming after you. I already knew it was coming. It would have been a lot worse because they wanted me so bad. But I basically played everything by the book through the series. I dated intentionally. I tried to give, you know what I mean? I picked who I thought was the right one when I picked Alexis over Cassandra overall, not off looks or whatever attracts. I tried to do off who I was vibing with. I tried to do everything right. I was upfront with all the ladies, things of that nature. So it was only so much. They tried to attack religion. They tried to attack everything they could outside the box. It wasn't a lot there. And I was trying not to, blow up like she did and put self wounds on yourself. So you just gave them a reason. But yes, it hurt. She did it to herself because you're getting targeted. Your back is against the wall. You even got to run out. You got to leave, like Aubrey said, or you got to sit there and just take it. But yeah, she reacted humanly, as a human would. I can't take that away from her. But it wasn't a situation where they just jacked their edits up all through the situation like they did me or some other people, stuff like that, where they had to intentionally go at you that way. They can set the stage and she performed.
I don't know, guys. I just really don't know it. I've never seen anything like it. I wouldn't have thought Alexis as she was portrayed earlier in the season. But you're right though, because I think back to that argument with Koshia, and she did come out of a whole different box, which is what we saw on the reunion, but even amplified. So maybe the guys kind of dodged a bullet. Maybe she dodged a bullet. Who knows? Because at one point, Alexis, do you recall early in the season, JR, when Alexis was like the it girl for a while?
Yeah, she did something to piss production off. Because you know how I know? Because the when you piss production off, the first thing they try to do, just to let you know that they pissed them off, is the whole "you're a snitch" thing.
Okay.
That's why they try to do it to me when I wasn't even there. They all talking about when they had Amber say I told Joelle about Venetia. That was the biggest lie in the history of the show. I didn't even talk to Amber after that point. You know what I mean? Like, but there was a warrant. That was a warning signal to say, and they told me to my face, anybody who we piss off, the first thing we do is make them look like a snitch. And that's why you got the whole situation where she brought up the women's lounge on Alexis during this reunion thing. That was programmed. That was set up. She was told to do that. They want to make her look like a snitch. There's no such thing as snitching in the ladies' lounge. Everybody's talking. Everybody's snitching. So to put that just on her, you piss somebody off. That's how that works. Because you can't regulate somebody as a snitch of the ladies' lounge or the man's lounge when everybody's talking. It's about how can you do that? Everybody's a snitch.
Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. I think the thing of it is, it's not like Vegas. Whatever happens at the ladies' lounge or the men's lounge, it doesn't stay there. It goes right outside those.
Oh, it don't last. Robbery, it doesn't last 15 seconds outside of it. Everybody calling their man. Everybody calling everybody.
That's what they said in the lounge about you and the other guys. All that pillow talk, because we already know a lot of them are already having.
We talking and stuff. I told them I was talking. I said, "Yo, Tressa." I was like, "I'm not going." She wants to know when she's about to get eliminated, and she said, "At least give me that." As a friend of mine, I don't want to be surprised and stuff. And I knew she couldn't take it. So when I found out it was getting close, I'm gonna text her, "Yo, man, this might be on thin ice this one." I'm gonna let my friend I didn't let my friend get slaughtered and stuff like that. And everybody was doing it. Everybody taking care of their own. So, you know what I mean? That's the way it's going to work. So everybody's doing this. So there ain't such thing as a snitch in the lounge. So when they make you look like you're the one and everybody's done the exact same thing you did, you piss somebody off. Period.
Yeah. Another round says this season got group chat snitches. She laughing. Last question before we wrap things up. Baby Doll wants to know, what are some of the ways a cast member can piss off production? Like, what are some of the things that cast members could do to that? Like, you said that she had done that to production and they didn't like her, so this is what kind of happened with her.
Yeah, if you are, let's say you're hard to work with, you do like I did, you break a rule, you throw a party or something like that. You get argument. The production's so petty and so powerful. If you get it but they're human too. So if they tell you to do something, you don't want to do it, and you get an attitude with them, and y'all get into an altercation, it's over the next day for you. You can all say hi the next day, but they're looking at you like, I forgot about that. It's Hollywood. It's Hollywood. So this ain't no different than P. Diddy's. This is Hollywood that you're in. They gonna hold grudges. Say the wrong thing, and your edits are about to change. Period. It would be something simple to you. These people think they powerful. So they're going to be like, oh, okay, it's like that. Like what Andrea said. They will mess with your stuff with no reason. Don't dare give them one.
Right.
It's over. They will mess with you, don't need a reason. If you gave them one, oh my God. She's going to get it. So yeah, it could have been one day. She could have been having a bad day. She said they said do something like this. And she said, man, don't fucking bother me like that. I got this going on. She said, you said what to me? Okay. And that's the end of it right there. They calm with you the whole rest of the time. And then they just editing your stuff up, killing you.
Jay, you a mess. You messy out there in the streets. You messy. Jay says, we know Ron's a snitch.
Like I said, I'm not a snitch. I'm loyal to everybody else out there. But I'm saying, don't lie on me about it. Like, you know what I mean? If I didn't say nothing to you about somebody, don't because production told you to do it. That's where I lost respect for Amber. I was like, dude, don't, because production told you to do it. Like, like, come on now. You don't sell me. I've been taking you on dates, drinks, everything like that. Production ain't done nothing for you. Like, nobody's giving you a spinoff. Don't sell me over the rhythm. Don't lie on me when you know I'm not a liar to please them.
What did Amber do? Because I don't remember what exactly Amber did at your season. What did she do to you?
Like, they had to, when they went to the resort, I was just eliminated. They had to get the information that Joelle voted for Kyra in the men's lounge. They had to get it out because Joel and Benicia needed a storyline.
Okay,
And
right.
instead of just finding another creative way to get that out, they tried to, since I was already there, couldn't defend myself. They had Amber lie and say, well, Ron told me that Joel bought it for
Yeah,
Kyra. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Ron did what? Ron ain't talking to you
You're right.
on the phone. Like, all our stuff was through text messages for the most part. I got every single text message stuff. We didn't talk, like, we never brought that up. Me and you weren't even on the page. We would talk about sexual stuff, all different type of stuff. If anybody would have came from, I was talking to more Alexis more about show driven type of stuff. Like, it didn't happen. It was a lie. When you have a person lie on you that you actually respect at the time, you lose respect. You're
Yeah.
like, you're willing to do that. I understand you're a lawyer and they do things like that. But I didn't think
We know
I didn't know it went that far.
we know lawyers may allegedly tell lies, but
Yeah, you know what I mean? I heard about it, but I'm like, come on, for that? And brush it away like it was no big deal. Like, come on now, like, don't. And then the problem was, I go to Joel and Benicia, and I go, yo, I didn't tell Amber that. And they laugh and go, Ron, we know you didn't say nothing. Well, then why y'all putting this out here?
like you said, they had to find a way to get that into
They had
your
to get it out, but I'm like, man, don't use me. Like, I'm like, all right, fine. And at that point, I'm like, I'm over.
Yeah, they could have said without calling anybody's names. They could have said somebody in the chat, or it was in the chat, or whatever. Somebody
No, you
screenshot.
use the guy that gets left because he's not there to defend himself.
He's
You know
not
what I
there
mean?
to
Like,
defend himself. That makes sense. That makes sense. What
yeah,
you're
you know
saying.
what I mean? I get the play, but I'm like, what I didn't get was, I just had so much integrity and stuff. I wouldn't lie. They couldn't pay me enough to lie on anybody.
Oh
I'm from
yeah,
Detroit. I live by a different code. We don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna lie about you, dog. For them, I ain't gonna do that. But no, everybody else went on the same code, so I get it.
yeah. Okay. Well, I just got the word. Somebody called time. So, um, JR and I are looking at covering the new show that we'll be taking Ready to Love's time zone on Fridays, and that's called the Never Ever Mets, I believe. You guys, I don't know if you've seen the premise of the show, but these are people that are long distance. They've been talking anywhere from 6 months to I think 12 years is the longest, and they've never ever laid eyes on each other in person. So um, drop down in the chat, drop down in the comment section of the video when we wrap this up. Guys, if you don't know what to say in the comment section, I really, really encourage you to leave me some engagement. You can just leave purple hearts. You can just say, "Hey, I enjoyed that video." If you're watching this on the replay, definitely leave me a chat message. Leave me something in the comment section. We really appreciate you all being here and sticking around till the end. If you haven't already hit the like button, go ahead and hit the like button. And in the meanwhile, JR, you want to tell them about what you got going on over on your channel and your IG?
Yeah, Instagram, just
Thank you,
health,
Ryan.
fitness, wealth, well-being. You can hit me up on Instagram for any of those things. Just check out the page or whatever. YouTube has my panel reviews and talking about relationships and different aspects and elements and things that we all face at different points in life, and that forms our opinions and things we get triggered by and everything. But remember, it's just opinions and perceptions,
Right.
and everybody's not meant to think the same. So disagree. Don't bring your heat or your beef to me, because you decide to come back, then you probably will. And I don't want to go back and forth. So keep it positive. Like, check out the YouTube. Check out actually Aubrey. We have interviews coming up, and like Aubrey said, we
Oh
have a new
yeah.
show that we'll be reviewing. So yeah, just stay positive, and best wishes to everybody out there doing whatever you're doing on your grind.
Well, thanks. And I'm sorry, if you're out there in YouTube land still, Ron, I'm sorry I didn't give you an outro. But we want to thank both JR and I want to thank Ron for coming in and being part of the panel. He always brings a unique perspective because, of course, he's been on Ready to Love. So, and a lot of these people are people that he know personally. behind the scenes, I get so much. There's so much I wish I could tell you. I think I'm going to write a novel and just change the names of the participants, because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scene, guys. That's all I can say. I can't say no more, but we got some people coming on, and I'm going to let them give you their version. We're going to interview them and let them give you your version, so you can ask questions. But like I say, the only thing I ask is that you keep it cute, keep it respectful when we have guests. Keep it cute. You guys did a great job tonight. Had one or two people that were a little rowdy, but hey, it's all in fun. It's all in fun. We're just here at you guys beck and call and will. We're doing this, and like JR said, you're not going to always agree with my opinion, his opinion, or Ron's opinion, but that's all they are. That's what a commentary video is we're giving our opinions. We're giving it from our perspective, and each one of us have different life perspectives, and I think that's what makes this panel unique. I want to thank Another Round for being in the building. We really enjoyed her. Hopefully we can get her back on the panel once again at some point, because she brings a lot of good information. I love the way the things that she says. We definitely have different opinions, different age groups, and everything like that. El Cid was in the building. I want to thank her for being in the building. Same thing, El Cid. I've never had you on a panel, so it's getting about that time for you to pop up and be a panelist for a day or so. And also we had in the building Miss Iffy. Miss Iffy is also over in the UK. She does reviews. If you don't have her, pick her up. And of course, Wes from Stay Tuned Reviews was in the building. We love him. He's so awesome. He does the greatest review videos, and he also cooks, guys. He also cooks. So you might want to go over there and check out his stuff on YouTube. And with that being said, 3.5 hours later, we're going to shimmy and shake on out of here. Right, JR?
It's time to get on out of here.
I'm tired to get on. It's like 3 a.m. where you're at, so I can't even imagine. Okay, let's get that music and let's shimmy and shake on out. Love you guys. See you next week. Okay.